I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll start by asking Ms. Cardinal contestant Leonela Mendez and Mr. Cardinal contestant Christopher Ramirez Zuniga. Will you lead us in the pledge and tell me how to pronounce your name properly? Zuniga. Thank you.
If you please may stand. If you can stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yo prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios entera, con libertad y justicia para todos. Gracias.
In case you don't know, that was the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish. Approval of agenda. Been moved in second. Any changes? Seeing none, vote please. I believe we have Ms. Chavez.
Aye.
And I don't have the other students. Oh, Ms. Gerlado. Sorry about that.
Aye.
Motion passed. At this time, I'd like to give the floor to Ms. Goodwin.
Well, good evening, and thank you, President Tillman. My name is Mary Roan Goodwin, and I am the Director of Communications and Community Relations. Before I introduce our Cultural Heritage presentation, I'd like to invite our board members, Superintendent Mauricio Arellano, and our Executive Cabinet to please make their way to the reserved seat section towards the front so you can enjoy a special presentation in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. In a moment, we will welcome district students from Cajon High School's Club Folklorico, who will provide tonight's cultural heritage presentation. They are led by teacher Leticia Corona. Leticia, wave if you're in the audience. There you are. Yes. At this time, Club Folklorico, would you please make your way forward by using the ramp to my left here? Audience, please put your hands together and give a warm welcome for Club Folklorico.
Por aquí pasó volando, una calandria amarilla, una calandria amarilla, por aquí pasó volando. En su piquito llevaba una rosa de Castilla que el viento la deshojaba como blanca maravilla. En su piquito llevaba una rosa de Castilla que el viento la deshojaba como blanca maravilla. María Chuchena se está bañando a orillas del río, muy puntito al mar. María Chuchena se está bañando y el techador por su casa pasando y le decía: María, María, ni te echo tu casa, ni te echo la mía, ni te echo tu casa, ni te echo la mía, ni te echo la casa de María García. lo traigo desde Tepango, este torito que traigo, y lo vengo manteniendo con cascaritas de mango. Este torito que traigo, lo traigo desde Tepango. Lázalo, Lázalo, Lázalo que se te va. Échame tus brazos, mi alma, si me tienes voluntad. Lázalo, Lázalo, Lázalo que se te fue. Échame tus brazos, mi alma, y nunca te olvidaré. No es pinto ni es colorado, no es pinto ni es colorado. Este torito que traigo es un torito barroso, de las llaves aserrado. Este torito que traigo lo traigo desde Alvarado. Lázalo, Lázalo, Lázalo que se te va. Échame tus brazos, mi alma, si me tienes voluntad. Lázalo, Lázalo, Lázalo que se te fue. Échame tus brazos, mi alma, y nunca te olvidaré. ¡Hola, muchachos!
All right, thank you, Cajones Club. Is there one more song, or are we finished for this evening? All right. Well, that was an incredible cultural presentation. Board, Mr. Ariano, if you would join them. And where is Mrs. Corona? Come join them. You're a very big part of this club here. Where's Dr. Jackson? I know you're in here. Actually, one of these. Right. Thank you so much. We'd like to invite the board and cabinet back to the dais. This concludes this evening's special presentations. I'd like to turn the floor back over to President Tillman.
Let's give those ladies one last round of applause. And thank you, Ms. Goodwin, for facilitating that. I want to give Ms. Goodwin a special thank you. The other day when we had the event with fires, I came in and did a video, and Ms. Goodwin met me here at about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and she had her 2 young children with her, one in a stroller who stayed asleep, but also one about, how old is your 14-year-old? And I know I was really getting on his nerves. He had better places to be, but I can't thank you enough for taking your personal time to do that. So thank you. We appreciate you. And that brings us to 2.2, resolution and recognition of National Bullying Prevention Month. I'd like to ask Mr. Husky to read that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. Whereas October is National Bullying Prevention Month, and the first Monday of October is World Day of Bullying Prevention, making October as a time to raise awareness of bullying, which can include verbal, physical, and cyberbullying. And whereas nationwide, about 20% of students report being bullied, with 27% of American Indian Alaska Native students, 23% of African American students, 23% of Caucasian students, 16% of Hispanic students, and 7% of Asian students report being bullied at school. And whereas children who are bullied are at increased risk of depression, anxiety, sleep difficulties, lower academic achievement, and dropping out of school. And whereas children who witness bullying are also at increased risk for tobacco, alcohol, and other drug use, have increased risk of depression and anxiety, and are more likely to skip school. Therefore, be it resolved, the San Bernardino City Unified School District will work to develop, implement, and monitor policies and programs that foster a positive school climate. And be it further resolved, the Board of Education proclaims its commitment to the prevention of bullying by educating students and staff, exploring solutions, and offering support to students in recognizing October as National Bullying Prevention Month and October 7th, 2024 as World Day of Bullying Prevention. So moved.
Second.
It's moved by Mr. Husky and second by Mrs. Alexander. Vote, please. Ms. Chavez?
Aye.
Ms. Gallardo?
Aye.
Motion passed. 2.3, resolution in recognition of Character Education Month. I'd like to ask Dr. White to read that for us.
Thank you, Mr. President. Whereas the Board of Education of the San Mateo City Unified School District welcomes the opportunity to proclaim that the present and future well-being of our society requires an involved, informed, and caring citizenry with good character, and whereas character development is first and foremost an obligation of families, but the efforts of faith communities, schools, and youth, civic, and human service organizations also play a vital role in fostering and promoting good character. And whereas the third week in October, October 20th through 26th, 2024, is National Character Counts Week, a time to highlight character education and the importance of modeling good character. And whereas October 14th through 18th, 2024, is Digital Citizenship Week, a time to focus on making safe, ethical, and responsible decisions online. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of San Mateo City Unified School District joins the California Department of Education in recognizing October as Character Education Month and encourages all schools to ensure that the development of strong moral character and the promotion of responsible, ethical, and civic-minded behavior are part of the curriculum. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. White and second by Ms. Ceballos. Vote, please. Ms. Chavez?
Aye.
Ms. Gallardo?
Aye.
Motion passed. 2.4, resolution declaring October the 2nd, 2024, California Clean Air Day. I'd like to ask our resident environmental board member champion, Mrs. Alexander, to read that for us.
Whereas it is vital that San Bernardino City Unified School District protects the health and well-being of children who are in the future of our community. Whereas air pollution contributes to higher rates of cancer and heart and lung disease, which adversely affects health, and whereas individual actions such as walking or biking to work, carpooling, not idling vehicles, and not burning hazardous or inappropriate materials such as painted or treated wood can directly improve air quality in our region. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of San Bernardino City Unified School District declares October 2nd, 2024 as California Clean Air Day and encourages all schools and offices to participate in activities that promote clean air for all and raise awareness of the detrimental effects of air pollution. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Alexander and second by Ms. Medina. Vote, please. Ms. Chavez?
Aye.
Ms. Gallardo?
Aye.
Motion passed. 2.5, resolution in recognition of Filipino American History Month. I'd like to ask Ms. Ceballos to read that for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. Whereas Filipino Americans are the second largest Asian American group in the country and the third largest ethnic group in California, and whereas Filipino Americans have played a critical part in the history and culture of both the United States and California, and whereas Filipino American History Month became federally acknowledged in 2009 when the Senate of the 111th Congress passed a formal resolution to recognize Filipino American history throughout the month of October. And whereas October is significant in Filipino American history because it marks the first recorded presence of Filipinos in what is now the United States, when on October 18, 1587, Filipino sailors came ashore from the Spanish galleon Nuestra Señora de Esperanza and landed in the Morro Bay area of California. And whereas Filipino American History Month highlights the economic, cultural, social, and patriotic contributions Filipino Americans have made in countless ways towards the development of our state and nation, and provides an opportunity to examine Filipino Americans' history and culture. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the San Bernardino City Unified School District does hereby recognize October as Filipino American History Month and calls upon schools, educators, and the community to celebrate the history and culture of Filipino Americans and their historic contributions to the nation by observing the month with appropriate ceremonies, activities, and programs. So moved.
Moved by Ms. Ceballos and second by Dr. White. Vote, please. Ms. Chavez?
Aye.
Ms. Gallardo?
Aye.
Motion carried. Section 3, public comments. 3.1, receive public comments. This is the only time the public will have the opportunity to address the board on items not on the agenda and within their subject matter jurisdiction, such as the district policies, procedures, programs, services, and fiscal matters. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes per person. 6 or more people who wish to speak on one topic will be provided no more than 30 minutes total. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because these comments are made at a public meeting. Our first public comment will come from Ms. Ashley Bettis Alcala.
Good evening, President Tillman, Mr. Ariano, Superintendent, and esteemed members of the Board and Cabinet. My name is Ashley Bettis Alcala, and I have the privilege of serving as President of the San Bernardino Teachers Association, representing more than 3,000 dedicated educators. First and foremost, SBTA would like to express our deepest gratitude to our firefighters and our first responders whose bravery and selflessness have kept our communities as safe as possible during these challenging times. Our hearts are with those who are affected by the fires, and we remain vigilant in supporting all of our members and their families through this difficult period. And we are thankful that a lot of the evacuation orders have now been lifted for many of the communities surrounding us that we know our employees reside in. We also want to thank the school board for convening the emergency meeting last week to listen to the voices of families, students, and employees who were impacted by the line fire and other fires. Your responsiveness and commitment to hearing their concerns is greatly appreciated. We recognize that in the aftermath of an emergency, it brings us time to reflect on all aspects of the situation, and there are always areas where we as a community can improve. We look forward to working together constructively to ensure that future emergencies are met with even greater preparedness and communication. Our educators, who are often on the front lines, have valuable firsthand insights into these situations, and we're eager to contribute to a process that ensures their concerns are heard and addressed in real time. We're confident that through continued collaboration, as we've done for many decades in this district, we can strengthen the systems and strategies that protect and serve our community and ensure that every member of the community, be it student, educator, or staff, feels represented and supported. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Ms. Trezor Ortiz.
Good evening, President, Superintendent. I don't really know how to address the whole board, but I wanted to come here tonight because I had another year, my third year, of being able to participate in judging the Mr. and Mr. Cardinal pageant, which is just, to me, one of the most fantastic things that happened. And I wish it happened in all the schools. But for what is happening at San Bernardino High School, one, you can't find a better guy than Jamie. The love and dedication is just phenomenal. But for the past 3 years, what I have seen is the best and brightest that San Bernardino High School has to offer met with unbelievable challenges, succeeding in spite of everything that happens in our community. People with 5.0 GPAs, which you didn't even know was possible, who are facing poverty, whose ambition in life is to go to college so they can make enough money so that they don't ever have to not be able to eat again, so that they can provide shelter for their parents, so they can give the previous generation a better life than they were given. And it makes me think, because last meeting, you guys were in our sandbox, which is the city sandbox. And here we are in yours. And to the president of the union, we come together very quickly in tragedy. We're very good at that. But what we fail at, in my belief, is our ability to come together for solution base. 47,000 kids live in the city of San Bernardino. And Ms. Mary Ellen, your post has brought so many conversations about 5,000 kids last year in the school district facing homelessness situations, 1,100 in foster care. But we don't meet. We, across the city and the school board, don't collaborate like we used to. And so what I wanted to come here tonight and speak to is in the spirit of what Dr. Margaret Hill used to promote, which was the Bridge Committee, where school district and city officials met, the leadership, the elected leadership. I want to see that come back. Councilwoman Calvin did an amazing job during her term of igniting the first ever school council to come work with the city. I want to see them a part of this. We talk about the children being the future, but quite honestly, they're here in the present. And hearing one student talk about how when she was a little girl, she's 18, little girl, less than 10 years ago, used to go to the park with her families and have barbecues and can't do that anymore because we as a city have failed an entire generation of children in 20 years. And that falls on all of us. Maybe more so at City Hall, but still here, you guys are all for their scholastic aptitude and success. And I'm a professor at Cal State, so I get to see the alumni move up. I get to see our alumni through all of the government institutions come back towards progress, but we gotta make sure we've laid that foundation. And so that's why I wanna be here tonight. I wanna be a part of that solution of laying an amazing foundation. San Bernardino's been my home for coming up 14 years and given me every opportunity as a young adult and a young woman. And I just think we could do more, and I appreciate what you guys do, but if you can find the time to reach out to the city and start building that collaboration, I hope to be a part of that collaboration come this November, but I don't want to wait for another election before progress takes hold. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Shanna Belchin.
Good evening. I am a custodian for 17 years in this district. And over the years, it's been getting worse and worse. As a day custodian, we got so much work put onto us. I am the only custodian at my site right now. I am forced to do more work than just my run. I call for M&O to help. The night crew comes. Most of them are sitting in there in a room watching their Netflix and stuff like that. I have to come in the next morning and pick up where they left off. It is frustrating. I'll give you an example. I came in yesterday morning. Our school was closed since Wednesday. I come in, the trash was never taken out of the cafeteria or our kitchen. We had maggots in our kitchen and in our cafeteria. Stuff is getting behind because I don't have the support. All they tell me is, we don't have enough people. How do we not have enough people? I don't understand that. But you're willing to give me overtime at some areas. But we need more help. This is ridiculous. My child goes to school in this district. I come in the morning, bathrooms are supposed to be clean, they are dirty. My kid is forced to use a dirty bathroom. This is why we have the Williams case, so stuff like this doesn't happen. And it is frustrating. We don't even get paid for all the work that we do. We work so hard, but we're low pay. And we are not getting no help. M&O had changed the night crew to come in at 2:30 to 11. That is crazy. That is dangerous and it's unsafe. That leaves more work for the day custodian. I'll give you another example. I'm cleaning the cafeteria, making sure no kids slip and fall, taking out the trash. But I have a kid that threw up on the playground. I got kids tearing up the bathrooms with poop on the wall, and I got blood in the health aide office because the kid had a bloody nose. And on top of that, I have a second grader who threw up on her laptop, so the kids have to sit in there and smell the throw up because they think it's better for them to come at night from 2:30 instead of overlapping us, where we could work together as a team, where we can see each other and work together as a team. We're supposed to be a team. And we're not getting that. We're not even getting support. I had them come out today because nobody came to do the 8-hour run. Nobody. I had dirty bathrooms. Our staff members have to use dirty bathrooms, and our kids. Why? That's unacceptable. And when M&O night crew does come, they spray it and walk away. And they say, well, that's what they tell us to do because we got to clean out their schools. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for my daughter to have to use a restroom like that. And it's unacceptable for us staff members to have to use a restroom like that. I am one person. I've been there since July, doing everything on my own. And it is frustrating. And 2 years ago, I had to clean the school top to bottom by myself because we didn't have nobody. Because our night person retired. And all they can say, hey, Shayna, thank you very much. No, I need help. Day custodians need help. The night custodians shouldn't have to wait and get off at 11 o'clock at night. It's dangerous. Are you going to have school police walk them to their car? You know how many times we got cars broken into? How do we know somebody ain't going to wait outside for them? It is dangerous. Work together. Have them come in, overlap, help. Because I can't do it by myself. No matter who I call or whatever. Oh, Shannon, we ain't got enough person. Today I came in. No run, 8-hour run was done. Bathrooms were dirty and everything. Chris Cortez comes. He goes, Shannon, what's wrong? I told him everything. And I said, can you send me some help? And he goes, well, I don't know. I can see what I can do. That's not good enough. You're getting paid $100,000 a year and you can't help us? If you ain't got nobody, put on some gloves. Help us. Because we're doing it all by ourselves. Our schools can't open it without custodians. We make it happen every single day. We're frontline. Something happens, we are there. Give us the support that we need, that we deserve. Treat us like human beings. And we need the help. And I'm here today to say I'm tired. I'm tired. I can't do a whole school by myself. I'm one person. And my goal, from my site goal that they have us write down, is to get the Sparkle Award. And how are you helping me get that? How? I feel like a failure even though I work hard every single day. But to come into my cafeteria to smell the trash that was left, maggots. My daughter has to sit in there with that. These poor kids have to sit in there. No, I'm rushing trying to get stuff done. Sometimes I don't get a break. Sometimes I don't even get a lunch break. Because my concern is my kids at that school. All them kids are my kids.
Ms. Belcher,
and the staff.
what school do you say you're at again?
Warren Springs Elementary.
Thank you very much, and we'll have somebody contact you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Medina? Reyna?
Good evening, board members and staff. I wrote a little note for all of you. My name is Reyna Medina, and I have been working as an electronic technician I've been with the district for 6 years. And tonight we are here, all of us, I'm the one who organized and put all of us together so we can come and express our opinions and concerns. And we're here tonight to address all the ongoing issues that began before the pandemic, and it got worse. It's getting worse every day. So we're concerned about unethical practices such as favoritism, nepotism. There's a lot of nepotism and a lot of cronyism in this district, which it has been ignored, and it's affecting all the employees. As you can see, Shayna, she's under a lot of stress, and this is part of the outcomes of all the unethical issues that we're going through every day. And so these challenges are partly due to poor decisions from the Personnel Commission and HR. I already went and talked to all of them, and nothing has been done. It's like if I'm not talking to anybody. And the results resulting in a appointment. Okay, I'm going to reread it. These challenges are partly due to poor decisions made by the Personnel Commission and HR, resulting in appointing individuals, management, and supervisory roles who lack essential leadership and skills and ethical standards. This evening, we will present some testimonies. There's more people that would like to express their opinions and concerns on all these issues, because this is not only a little problem, it's a big problem. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We need an interpreter, and the next up is Ms. Zavala. Oh, Mrs. Zavala, sorry about that.
Buenas tardes a todos. Soy Guillermo Zavala de Grounds.
Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Guillermo Zavala from Grounds.
Tengo más de 10 años, 11 años trabajando para el distrito.
I've been working for this district for about 10 years plus.
He mirado muchos problemas
I've seen many problems
con los encargados de contratar la gente, supervisores.
with the people in charge of hiring people and supervisors.
Agarran la gente equivocada,
They hire the wrong people,
familiares, amigos,
family members, friends,
y luego quieren que las demás personas hagan el trabajo de todos.
and then they are expecting others to do the work for everybody.
En mi caso, yo soy el regador.
In my case, I'm the one that irrigates.
Cuando yo entré aquí, éramos 30 y más personas.
When I started working here, we were about 30 plus people.
Ahora somos más de 60 personas.
Now we are currently 60 plus people working there.
Las escuelas se miran peor,
Schools are looking worse.
secas, mojadas.
They're either dry or they're wet.
Los árboles no se apodan del modo que se tienen que apodar.
The trees are not being trimmed the way that they're supposed to be.
Pero no le ponen las químicas que deben de llevar los árboles. Se están muriendo. Hay muchos problemas.
They don't provide the right treatment for the trees. They're dying. They're drying off. There are many problems.
Hay mucho favoritismo.
There's a lot of favoritism.
Y ya hemos hablado con algunas personas y no se hace nada.
We've already spoken to several people and nothing is being done.
Me gustaría que se comprometieran alguien de ustedes a resolver el problema.
I would like somebody here to try to help us resolve this problem.
Porque el problema va a seguir y se va a hacer más grande.
The problem is only going to continue and become bigger.
Ahora se está trabajando 7 días a la semana.
Currently, we are working 7 days a week.
Cuando yo empecé, se trabajaba de lunes a viernes.
So when I started working here, we work from Monday to Friday.
Si no miran ustedes el problema, no sé quién lo va a mirar.
If you cannot see the problem, I don't know who will.
Ahora en este momento no se está haciendo lo suficiente para solucionar problemas de no accidentes.
So currently, we're not doing enough to try to prevent accidents.
He mirado que se lastima demasiada gente
I've seen a lot of people get hurt,
y les toca retirarse o les toca salirse y buscar otro trabajo por lo que está pasando.
and therefore they have to either retire, look for another job, or just flat out leave because of what's going on.
Las personas que las agarran, como les dije, equivocadamente, no hacen su trabajo y quieren que uno les solucione los problemas que tienen, porque no sabe identificar los problemas. Para hacer un regador o cualquier trabajo se requiere de tiempo, experiencia y años. Nadie de aquí va a hacer el trabajo en meses o en 1 año o 2 años. Se requiere de bastante tiempo y conocimiento, y que quieran trabajar y que quieran aprender a hacer su trabajo.
Okay, so yes, we're hiring the wrong people. They don't know what they're doing. They're not learning the correct process and procedures in order to be able to perform their job. As an irrigator, it takes time, it takes experience, it takes years of knowledge. But these people are not willing to learn. They're not willing to learn, and they're not doing, therefore, their job as they're supposed to be.
Eso es todo.
That's it.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zavala. Ms. Medina?
Bueno, sí tengo una pregunta. I do have a question. It's a clarifying question. I know in your comments, you mentioned 7 days. Is this just recent? Mencionó que son 7 días que se están trabajando. Nomás quería clarificar. ¿Es reciente o esto ya tiene tiempo?
Ya tiene años. Tiene 3, 4 años de esto.
Okay.
O sea que si miras, es fácil de mirar ese problema. Si vas para atrás los años y miras cuando uno poncha para adentro y para afuera los días, ahí te salen los días. Ahora estamos firmando. Pueden ustedes pedir las hojas de cuando se firman y van a mirar que vienen personas sábado y domingo. ¿Qué hacen? ¿O por qué las escuelas siguen peor? Somos 30 más personas. Se supone que deberíamos de controlar más porque nos están pagando.
So yes, this it's been about 3-4 years. If you look at our timesheets, you can see that. We have to sign in. There are people coming in and signing in Saturday and Sunday. What are they doing? I mean, the schools, like I said earlier, they're worse than before. When we only had 30 people, now we have 60 plus. They shouldn't be like that. If we have more staff, we shouldn't even be working more days. We should be working our regular schedule and providing the best care for our schools.
¿Alguna otra pregunta que tengan?
Any other question?
Thank you. Carl Greenwood?
Back again, same problems. What everybody's saying tonight is 100% correct. The way that we're treated at maintenance and operation, we're treated less than dogs. My issues are they don't treat us like human beings. They don't ask questions. They don't try to find out what's going on or how to resolve it. One of my issues was I had COVID, almost passed. I'm only breathing at about 70%. Work now. Last November, I had cancer. I came back to work early, and I was told by supervision, why weren't you in your seat like I was a child? The expectation is that you're in your seat, ready to go to work. Stitches from one side to the other, still at the job. That got into a confrontation that could have went south. This is the kind of treatment that we're having. After coming back from the surgery, I was told, you can't come back to work. Why can't I come back to work? You don't have a doctor's excuse. I don't need a doctor's excuse. I used my own vacation time to get this done. It needed to be done in a hurry. You're not going back to work until you show us proof you can go back to work. So I was humiliated in front of my coworkers, left behind, and had to sit there half the day until Mr. Medina called and got in touch with them and said, put him back to work. The doctor says go back to work. We want to make sure he's okay. It's not up to you. You're not a doctor. Put him back to work. One time I went to the restroom because of the nature of my surgery. I had to go to the restroom. The next day, I come into work. Everybody got breakfast burritos but me. And I was told because you weren't here to order your burrito. I make too much money to worry about that. Okay, I'm getting ready to leave here. I have businesses, I have money. It wasn't the burrito, it was the thought behind it. You're gonna scold me and not give me something in front of my coworkers because I wasn't in my seat? You already knew I had surgery. You already knew I had staples. And I went to the restroom and I got back at 7:03. You weren't in your seat at 7 o'clock. As far as custodians are concerned, my job is to write for the custodians, for Williams, for the FIT. I'm working on the FIT now. And at any given time, they can move me around anywhere. And they tell me, well, you're a surveyor. You survey what we tell you to survey. Well, I survey for maintenance and operations Williams team. But since I've been here, I survey for 4 different departments. I'm not getting paid for that. A few months back, I was working out of class in the custodial department, and I worked with every single so-called manager. They don't know how to do formulas. They don't know how to correct rights, wrongs. They don't know how to go and ask questions like, why isn't this working? I've been here, this is my 37th year. I started out as a sub-custodian. I came in as a custodian 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've been all the way up the ladder. I even worked out of class for over a year and a half before they hired John Hardy as John Hardy. So why are you paying these people 6 figures and they're asking me how to do their job? I go to every campus on this district 5 times a year, and that's what I get bombarded with. Can you show me how to do this? Can you show me how to do that? And I take the time to show them. Then I'm told, well, you're not reflecting what we want to see on paperwork. I cannot, in good faith, ding a custodian on not having a certain area clean when it's one of them. I cannot do that. It's not clean because the custodian did not come in the night before. Well, it needs to be clean. Well, we all know that. What are we doing about correcting the issue or correcting the problem?
Time.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
In closing, all of us here tonight have gone all the way as far as we can go. We have talked to everyone with nothing done. These managers, when they get frustrated, they get in your face, their voices raise, they take an attack posture, and I'll tell you right now, that's not gonna work with me. You cross that line with me, I'm going to defend myself. That is how it is down at maintenance and operations. And that's how it's been with at least 2 or 3 managers since I've been there. To where you feel that you have to back up. And I've said this, I've backed up 3 times. I am not gonna back up again. What are you saying? I'm gonna defend myself with extreme prejudice. Back up. We can talk, but you don't need to be in my zone. This is how it is all throughout the district, and you guys don't know just how horrible it is out there. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Luis Solis, need an interpreter?
Okay, hi everybody. I'm a little bit nervous, but my first time speaking to everybody. Whatever these people say, that's truth. I talked to a couple of people already about what happened in maintenance and operation, but especially at my school. I was in Davidson working there, and my supervisor, Christopher Cortez, he treated me the same way. He harassed me. He's been mean all the time with me. And now I'm in maintenance and operation and a light duty, and he's still going there with me, and he's like that with a lot of people that I know. I know 4 people in Cajon. He treated the same way, you know what I mean? Whatever they say, they can say more than me because they've been more time in the district. But, this thing has to change, the supervisors has to change. They have to help or they have to remove it, you know what I mean? Especially, like I said, Chris Ortez, I know him for more than 20 years. He used to own the restaurant too. And I know him for maybe 30 years. He was nice until he had the power, and now he's doing this to mostly everybody. He's harassing a lot of women, you know what I mean? I know because a lot of people tell me, I've been in a lot of schools, I know a lot of people everywhere, and people talk, and whatever they say, it is true. When I started working in November in Davidson, he was giving me all the overtime they needed to change the school. And when something he don't like it, he stopped giving me overtime. He wasn't friendly, not at all. And you know what? I understand that, and I just kind of walk away from him. But I don't feel comfortable with him. I don't want to work with him. I'm fine in maintenance operation right now. I'm in a light duty. Probably in October I had to go back to Davidson, but I don't want to go back because I don't feel comfortable with him. That's how I don't feel. I don't want it. And it's not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be happy working, nice environment. And the most thing that's hurting me is because I don't have no overtime, Couple supervisors to give me overtime once in a while, but he's supposed to give me more because only his friends can get overtime, and that's not fair. We all working fine, but whatever they say, it is true. Something has to change, and you guys can fix it, But like I told somebody, if you don't know, you can fix it, And maybe we're gonna be in the doghouse for a while, whatever we speak here, but it is what it is, Thank you. Thank you for your time. Okay.
Thank you. That was our last public comment. That takes us to section 4, public hearings, 4.1. Public hearing and adoption of sufficiency of TK-12 textbooks and instructional materials. It is appropriate at this time to open a public hearing. Are there any public comments?
There are none.
The public hearing is closed. Be resolved that the Board of Education adopts a resolution for the 2024-2025 school year that the San Bernardino City Unified School District has provided each pupil with sufficient textbooks and instruction materials aligned to the academic content standards and consistent with the cycles and content of the curriculum frameworks. Motion, please.
Second.
Moved by Dr. White, second by Ms. Medina. Any comments? Vote, please. Ms. Chavez?
Aye.
Ms. Gallardo?
Aye.
Motion passed. Section 5, closed session. We will go into closed session. Are there any closed session public comments?
There are none.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. Section 6, action reported from closed session. Claim 6.1. Be resolved, the Board of Education approves settlement authorization claim number 576285 in the amount of $90,000. Moved by Dr. Wyatt, second by Ms. Ceballos. Vote, please. Motion passed. 6.2. Expulsion of students. Board of Education accepts and adopts the recommendation and findings of the hearing panel based on a review of the panel's findings of facts and recommendations and orders the expulsion of the following students with identification numbers as listed below in accordance with the board rules and regulations and in compliance with Education Code Section 48900. Moved by Mr. Husky, seconded by Dr. Wyatt. Vote, please. Motion passed. 6.3. The Board of Education accepts and adopts a recommendation and findings of the facts of positive youth development and orders the suspension or expulsion of the following students with the identification numbers as listed below in accordance with the board rules and regulations and in compliance with Education Code Section 48900. Motion, please. Moved by Dr. Wise, second by Mr. Husky. Vote, please. Six 6.4, we'll make an amendment. We're going to add two numbers.
Just 1 second, please. Mary Ellen Grande, please.
Six 6.4. The Board of Education authorizes the readmission of the following students with identification numbers as indicated below to schools of the San Bernardino Unified School District in accordance with the board rules and regulations and in compliance with Education Code Section 48900, 455954, 469023, and 434617. Motion, please. Been moved and second. Vote, please. Motion carried. 6.5. The Board of Education authorizes the expulsion and/or youth court modification, expungement, or rescinding of the following students with the identification numbers as indicated below to schools of the San Bernardino City Unified School District in accordance with the board rules and regulations and in compliance with Education Code Section 48900. Want to eliminate two numbers, 469023 and 434617. Motion, please. Moved by Mr. Husky and second by Ms. Ceballos. Vote, please. Motion carries. Section 7, student board members, 7.1, reports by student board members. Want to start with Ms. Gallardo?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fernanda Gallardo, and I am a senior representing Arroyo Valley High School. I want to begin by thanking every individual in our educational system for providing students with the necessary tools and knowledge to be able to pursue and accomplish their goals. Currently, at Arroyo Valley High School, teachers have reported a leadership spirit from all students. We are also extremely excited for our upcoming homecoming football game and homecoming dance. At Cajon High School, the seniors had their college tours to Cal Baptist, UC Berkeley, and UC Davis. Additionally, middle college seniors are excited for their field trip to Cal State San Bernardino and also for their club's preparation for their fall festival. One aspect of Shines that I would like to highlight is the high expectations for academics and innovation to be college and/or career ready. This aspect is extremely important as it paves our path towards success with academic resources through different programs and opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chavez.
Good evening, board and community members. My name is Ana Victoria Chavez, and I am a senior and I represent San Bernardino High School. I would like to start off by giving a huge thanks to Jamie Rios for his passion and dedication for directing the 21st annual Mr. and the 20th annual Miss Cardinal pageant that is taking place this Saturday, September 21st at the Indian Springs High School Theater. Doors open at 5 p.m. and the pageant begins at 6 p.m. Tickets are still on sale for $10 for adults, and kids under 5 go in for free. I hope to see you all there to support the amazing contestants that are competing this Saturday. I would like to give a special recognition to our football team for their outstanding performance this season. This Friday, they will be traveling to Menifee for their next game, and we wish them continued success. In addition, Cajon speakers at the last board meeting would like to say thank you for the cards and tokens of appreciation from the superintendent. Cajon is focusing on a new film video for admin through Cajon Broadcasting. Lastly, they just had their homecoming dance at the Riverside Municipal this last weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Section 8, Administrative Reports Presentation 8.1, Report Unaudited Actual Financial Report for Fiscal Year 2023-2024.
Good evening, President Tillman, Vice President Ceballos, Superintendent Ariano, esteemed board members and executive cabinet, as well as the community behind me and online. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you the unaudited actuals of fiscal year 23-24. I wanted to extend my gratitude towards the team that helped prepare this with Mr. Jim Cunningham in Accounting Services and also Trias Huey from Fiscal Services and the team that support them in making this come to fruition. Topics for discussion. This evening, we're going to talk about the why we have to do this. It's Ed Code 42100. Also, the report will focus on the revenue and expenditures from the preceding fiscal year. And we will talk about unrestricted, restricted, and combined budgets. Just to be clear that this does not include the current budget we're in 24-25. That will be updated during first interim to the board in December. So on this slide, what I've done is I've taken the budget as a complete whole and broke it into basically three elements. We have an unrestricted, the next slide would be restricted, and the subsequent slide would be combined. This slide here is situated, all three slides are situated in the same manner for ease of following. So in that first column, you see, in this one, it's unrestricted general fund and a description of that item. And then you'll see three columns to the right, which include the adopted budget. So this is that projected budget that was approved back in June of 23. And then we had estimated actuals, and then in the spring, and then we had our unaudited actuals that were just finished up not too long ago. As you look at line 1, which speaks to the beginning fund balance, you'll see that we increased by about 29 million from adopted to unaudited, due in large part from budgeted costs from the 22-23 school year that did not actualize. And then if you look at line 2, you'll see our revenues also increased about $27 million, and that's from the estimated actuals from the spring. And this increase was due to revenues impacted by interest, lottery, Medi-Cal billing, and also fair market value that is given to us by the county office on our investments. That's about 7.1 million of that $27 million increase isn't actualized dollars. It's just a valuation of our investments by the county. So we don't look at those dollars continuing on. The third line are expenditures, and you'll see that we had a decrease of about $70 million from our adopted to our unaudited actuals for a variety of reasons. The main reason would be on line number 4, which are transfers out. We moved about $90 million of continuity of services expenditures into our ESSER 3 funding. That ESSER 3 funding has now sunset, will sunset September 30th. We are expended down to zero. So we have no ESSER 3 funds available now and moving forward. What ESSER 3 created gave us a lot of opportunities, but it also gave a kind of a blurry picture of the budget because of all the movement of funding sources to offset our costs and to maximize the ESSER 3 funding, particularly to our continuity of services. We also did find that our transportation costs came in a little bit lower than anticipated, as did our insurance, utilities, and some of our site allocations funding did return back. So those are the variances in lines 3 and 4. The increase on line 5 to the beginning fund balance is 4.8 million. And that's a tremendous swing from where we were at estimated actuals, but you can also see the main reason why would be our ESSER 3 absorption of expenditures at that $90 million mark. When combined with our beginning fund balance, we have an unrestricted ending fund balance for 23-24 of $119 million. Next slide. This slide is of our restricted funding sources. These come with very specific allowability uses that must be used by and large for the program that it is funded for. Again, I'll walk you through the lines and just explain those differences, set up the same way as the previous slide. Our 22-23 budget cost that did not actualize in our restricted was less. It was about 13.6 million. Was increase from 174 to 188. So an increase of about 13.6 million to our beginning fund balance. The revenues increased roughly about 70 million from adopted budget to where we ended up the school year with our unaudited actuals, large part due to our carryover in ELOP, equity multiplier, early literacy, some Medi-Cal billing, lottery, and some special education early intervention dollars. So a lot of that contributed to our increase in revenues from what we projected. The expenditures actually kind of flatlined. If you look at the 23-24 adopted budget to our unaudited, very, very close. Not much of a difference for that amount of expenditure projection. If you go to the increase or decrease to fund balance, you'll see that that's an increase of about $24 million. Add that to our beginning fund balance, and we have an ending fund balance of $212.6 million. On that next slide, that takes the unrestricted and the restricted and puts them together in one table. So in summary then, you have an increase in beginning fund balance of about $40 million total, restricted and unrestricted. You have an increase in revenue of about $97 million total. And you have a decrease in expenditures of about $78 million. Again, you have that $90 million offset from ESSER 3. So that helped take a lot of the expenditures and it helped give us a more healthy looking ending fund balance. As you look at the increase or decrease overall, it was about $29 million. So the adopted budget ending fund balance of 203 at the start of the year, we ended with 332. Now, remember, I just bring to the board's attention that of that $332 million, that is a combined ending fund balance total. 212 of that is restricted. 119 of it is unrestricted. I also want to call the attention that in looking at our projected 24-25 budget, just in the early look into that based on these numbers, we would look like we're operating at a controlled structural deficit of about $42 million. But I would like to reassure the board that Cabinet is taking assertive action on how to minimize and reduce long-term that controlled structural deficit as we move forward from this year moving on. Yes, sir.
So it's always we miss some numbers for the 23-24 budget year. To the good. I mean, we got more. It's always good to have more money than you thought you had, and you spent less than you thought you were going to spend. But you talk about this structural deficit. Have you looked at where the new money was realized in terms of revenues? And have you looked at where the expenditures weren't realized and say maybe that might happen in the 2024-2025 year too? So we won't have the deficit that we think the deficit that we projected?
That's a great question, Mr. Tillman. And yes, we've done a deep dive. Ms. Huey and Dr. Morales with Dr. Funches in HR have done a deep dive on our position control and really looking at our vacancies, those that have been vacant for multiple years. Also, the variance between what we projected between our classified and certificated salaries alone would have been about $515 million we were about 7.3 million off from that. So so $500 million expenditure for those two classifications, when we were about 7.3 million off, about a 1.4% variant in that total. So in looking at the other expenditures and other new revenue dollars, we also found that we had some services not come to fruition. We are looking at that as a mechanism to reduce ongoing costs, looking at redundancies, duplication of effort, things that we have already captured and may not need to continue. That's both in contracted services as well as our software that we purchase, but also looking at other cost items throughout the district.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next slide. So this here is the timeline. Just to give you where we are at the far left with the unaudited actuals. As I mentioned earlier, first interim will come up in December, and then the governor's revise will be in January. Excuse me, the governor's initial budget proposal will be in January. And then we'll go through a number of months of back and forth and watching revenue. And then in between that, we'll have a second interim in March. And then the governor's revise will come again in May. And then we'll be back here in June with our LCAP partners and presenting our LCAP as well as our budget at the two meetings in June. Next slide. That is the update that we prepared to share with the board this evening. Thank you for your time, and if you had any additional questions, Teresa and I are here to help address.
Any questions from board members? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Eight point two, report early literacy support block grant year 3 annual report.
Thank you, President Tillman, Vice President Ceballos, Mr. Arellano, board members, and our audience as well. I have some great news that I'm going to bring you about our early literacy support block grant. It was given, if you remember, back in the year 2021. The State Department gave us a little under $1 million to work with Lincoln Elementary School on early literacy. And I'm happy to report that that money was very well spent and then some. It was really given to us to develop a systematic approach to reading. And so we hired a literacy coach. There was curriculum and many resources, diagnostic assessments, expanded learning time for students, professional development for teachers. It was a very, very good approach that was led by Dr. Amy Coker, who is here, and our principal, Heather Regalado, as well, is here. And I want to congratulate them both and both of their teams. Because of this grant now, we are going to be expanding. As you know, we expanded to 19 schools because it showed great results. I want to give them kudos in letting you know that in kindergarten, they are at 37% proficient on their phonics and decoding, which is well above the district average. And their dual immersion kinder is at 74% proficient in reading. In first grade, it's 46%, dual immersion 60%. In second grade, they're at 38% in reading proficiency, and their dual immersion class at 72% proficiency. And Dr. Regalado reminded me that they did double their CAS score as well. So this grant has been very successful. Thank you, board, for accepting the grant. We're now taking those practices and expanding to the 19 different schools. I would like a round of applause for Dr. Coker and Dr. Regalado, who used the grant very well. Thank you very much. It was used for what was intended, and we have some great results that we can build on now.
Ms. Medina?
Yes, no, that's a great report, and thank you so much for your work as well, for the whole team. I'm just curious, when I've heard of this before, you know how they say with musicians and those that learn arts, as well as those that learn multiple languages at a younger age, how it helps their learning abilities. And so I'm wondering, because there is those students that are attending dual immersion. Is that something that we need to look at, maybe expanding it more? Because apparently it's something's working there compared to those that are not in dual immersion classes.
We will be bringing you some exciting news when we do the report out of CASP, because you will see some great results that I think we absolutely need to expand on.
Well, thank you. Section 11? No. Sorry about that. Thank you. 8.3, AP dual enrollment / IB.
Thank you. And again, I'm very fortunate to have probably the best team anybody could ever ask for, and they're all here. More good news. So board, you had asked for some information about our advanced programs. So tonight, we're very happy to focus on IB, AP, and our dual enrollment program. So I will hand it over to Dr. Venkatesan and her team.
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Tillman, Superintendent Ariano, Board, Cabinet, parents, and community. My name is Sudha Venkatesan, and I am the Director of Secondary Education and College and Career. I want to acknowledge my amazing team that is here with me today. My entire team is with me. If you can please stand up. And they're all wearing that secondary education logo too. And we also have our IB coordinator from Cajon and our linked learning program specialist, Mrs. Roberta. And I really love them dearly. They're amazing. So what I bring before you today is a collaborative work done by my team and our school sites. I would like to give kudos to Superintendent Ariano and the school board for requesting the data on these advanced programs. In the 8 years of my tenure as the Director of Secondary Education, this is the first time I'm getting an opportunity to spotlight our advanced programs beyond dual enrollment. So we are very excited about that. So tonight, I will provide you broad details about the International Baccalaureate, Advanced Placement, and Dual Enrollment. I will also go over some data on enrollment as well as achievement. We will conclude with our next steps at the end of each topic, and I will pause after every topic for questions. Before we begin, we thought it would be beneficial to hear directly from admission representatives from 2 local colleges, one public and one private. They were flattered to be asked and eager to share the following information with you. We have 2 video interviews from Cal State San Bernardino and University of Redlands to discuss the impact of AP, IB, and dual enrollment courses on the admission process at these institutions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vincent Japson, and I serve as the Director of Admissions Operations at California State University, San Bernardino. In my role, I oversee many aspects of the admissions process, particularly in making sure prospective students have a smooth and clear pathway to begin their academic journey with us. I'm excited to talk to you today about how students from your district who may graduate with AP exams, IB exams, and dual enrollment credits can incorporate these achievements into their applications and academic careers at CSUSB. At CSUSB, transfer credits resulting from these AP scores, IB exam results, and dual enrollment credits can significantly reduce the number of courses a student needs to complete during their time at the university. Now, there are several compelling reasons to consider dual enrollment, and they align very closely with what we value in our admissions process. First, earning college credit early. Dual enrollment credits can count toward your degree, allowing you to skip intro classes and graduate sooner, reducing both time and cost. Next, taking dual enrollment courses signals to us at CSUSB that you're academically ambitious and ready for college-level challenges. It shows a strong commitment to learning and preparation for success at CSUSB. Now, in summary, dual enrollment offers students a fantastic opportunity to gain valuable college experience, earn credits, and strengthen their college applications. At CSUSB, we recognize the significance of these programs and look forward to helping you make the most of them as you pursue your higher education goals.
Now from Redlands.
Is Ryan Donahue. I'm the Senior Associate Director for First Year Admission at the University of Redlands. So I work with all of our admission counselors about the recruiting and admission process, as well as file review. I'm here today to talk about the use of AP, IB, and dual enrollment courses in our admission process. As we review a student's application, we look at their transcript, as well as any advanced placement, international baccalaureate, or dual enrollment credits they may have. And those definitely help show proficiency in those subject areas, but they also show that a student has challenged themselves, has taken a further academic interest, and it also indicates that they're likely thinking ahead to college. We don't weigh too much between them. Honestly, it comes down to what's the right choice for that student, and that usually comes down to differences in what's offered in their school district. And other major considerations that we typically build into our admission decision. We always want to make sure that when we're admitting a student that they're going to be able to graduate in 4 years. So we're looking for academic preparedness. So for us, that means having 4 years of English, having at least Algebra 2. We don't have remedial math, so that if a student doesn't have at least that college level algebra, we don't have the offering for them to catch up. So things like that to help them stay on track, I think, go a long way in the admission process.
We would like to thank Vincent Japson from CSUSB and Ryan Donahue for sharing their university's perspective with us. As you know, Board, we have always had a strong focus on the A through G requirements, which indicates rigor in the preparation. And it's also why we focus on all the programs like IB, AP, and dual enrollment. These programs provide SBC USD students an edge in college admissions. Following our college partners, we would like to share information starting with the International Baccalaureate program. We have the primary years program at Holcomb, middle years program at Chavez, and Arroyo and Cajon as grade 9 and grade 10 fall into the middle years program. Then we have diploma programs at Cajon and Arroyo. IB programs are designed to help students develop critical thinking skills, curiosity, and a love of learning. International Baccalaureate is a global education program that offers a range of educational programs for students from age 3 through 19. We will focus tonight specifically on the two high schools, Cajon and Arroyo Valley, where the IB diploma programs are offered. IB diploma programs targets juniors and seniors at these schools. If a student is in the MYP program at Chavez Middle School and they meet the IB admission criteria, they can choose to attend Cajon or Arroyo Valley School IB programs. As you can see in the slide, ABHS and CHS both offer the same amount of course offerings unique to the IB program. You may see that there are fewer students enrolled in Arroyo Valley, which has a smaller program, but also offers AP classes. While the Cajon IB program is a larger program, Cajon does not offer any AP classes. IB diploma-bound students must take courses from 6 different subject groups, with 3 to 4 of these taken at a higher level and the remaining at the standard level. Additionally, they have to also complete the core requirements such as theory of knowledge, extended essay, and creativity, activity, and self-component called CAS. IB diploma program is very rigorous and very demanding. Though only a small percentage of students manage to clear all the requirements of the IB diploma, every one of the IB higher level classes taken and exams passed with a 4 or higher will earn them college credit. Several of our students benefit from these classes that way. This slide shows the demographic breakdown of students enrolled in the IB program at Cajon. You have information on both student and program groups. You can see that there are 650 juniors and seniors enrolled into the IB courses. The denominator in each row refers to the total number of 11th and 12th graders at Cajon High School in that category. The numerator indicates the number of students enrolled in the IB courses that are in the 11th and 12th grade. For example, we have a total of 182 African American students in 11th and 12th grade at Cajon. Out of 182 students, 67 are enrolled in the IB diploma-bound program. That constitutes 36.8% of African American students at Cajon High School that are enrolled in the 11th and 12th grade IB diploma. All IB courses offered at Cajon are given honors credit. That means an A is 5 on GPA. In addition to IB diploma examinations, students have the option to take the AP course exams in that field of study. Though no AP classes are offered at Cajon, last year, Cajon students took AP exams in Spanish, English language, English literature, and US history. The pass rates were pretty remarkable in the AP tests. I will be providing the data in the future slides. We will now take a look at the IB enrollment count at Arroyo Valley High School. As you have seen, Arroyo Valley has a smaller IB program, and the school offers multiple other advanced program opportunities. Beginning this year, Arroyo Valley has opened their Elevate Academy that is dedicated to dual enrollment. This is similar to having a middle college within a comprehensive high school. We are already in conversation with the principal to enforce the TIP policy to increase African American student participation and completion in the IB programs, as well as intentional recruitment from all the student groups. As you review the table, you will see 165 11th and 12th graders are enrolled in the IB program. Now to the achievement data related to IB. This slide reflects the students that met prepared for college readiness through IB exams. This data shows seniors only. Seniors who have passed 2 or more IB exams earn prepared status for the college and career indicators upon graduation. 69% of the Cajon IB seniors who took 2 or more exams met CCI prepared status through IB examination. This is a pretty impressive feat. 44% of ABH's IB seniors who took 2 or more exams met CCI prepared status through the IB examination. This slide represents the 23-24 pass rates in the higher level exams. All higher level exams that is passed with a 4 or higher earn college credits. Both juniors and seniors have access to take these exams. 50.3% of Arroyo Valley higher level test takers and 62% of the Cajon's higher level test takers scored a 4 or above, thus earning college credits in those subject areas passed. Our next steps. Both schools are scheduled for IB Diploma MYP evaluation cycle and process during the year 25-26. Our focus is to increase participation and retention of all student groups in the IB across the primary years, middle years, and diploma programs through routine articulation among the IB schools. Currently, we have established a monthly meeting between these schools. We are focused on implementing a major tenet in the TIP policy, which is to increase African American students enrolling and succeeding in the IB programs. We are working with ETSA and the equity counselors, especially focusing on Arroyo Valley. Additionally, we are also exploring another middle school option for MYP that could increase IB enrollment in Arroyo Valley. That concludes my presentation on this topic. Questions?
Ms. Medina?
Thank you so much. This is really helpful. And I do appreciate, because this is information we should have requested a long time ago. I'm glad that you're doing it now. What happens for those students that do not score 4 or above? For instance, those that are 3. I'll just let you, what happens to them? Or it's like a 0, they don't get nothing?
So the moment students are in an IB class, it's already an honors class. So their GPA is calculated differently. For example, if they get an A in the class, they get 5 on GPA. If they get a B, they get a 4. So they are already one step ahead by taking. So that is in order for us to acknowledge it's a rigorous class. So then the next thing that is added to them, whether they complete the diploma or not, is taking the exam. And if they take the exam and get 4, in addition to the GPA, weighted GPA, they also get college credit. So all that is, if they don't pass the test, they don't get college credits. And they may not be a prepared status in the CCI. But all it takes is only just 2 exams for them to get the CCI prepared status.
Thank you.
Mrs. Alexander?
Thank you. Thank you for this report. Definitely, I mean, our focus is to improve our students and make sure, one, they get their requirements A through G, but focusing on the International Baccalaureate program. What is the difference in Arroyo versus Cajon High School in terms of why are the numbers so much more lower at Arroyo for just across the board?
Arroyo offers a wide variety of advanced opportunities. And also an advantage for Cajon is there is a straight pipeline from Chavez in terms of geographical boundaries and locations. It's easy for the students in Chavez to transfer into, Cajon. Because we don't have that for Arroyo, there could be a lower enrollment. So that is why we are looking at what other middle school could carry this MYP program that can become like a straight feeder into Arroyo Valley. Our goal when we looked at those numbers was to make sure, how do we increase this? There is opportunity there, there is potential there. How can we increase and expand those IB programs? But as we go further into the presentation, you will see how many more advanced opportunities, Arroyo Valley is offering. Each one, in some way, they start specializing in a certain areas. Mm-hmm. So Cajon started specializing in like IB, and they have expanded that very massively.
Okay.
But there is opportunity in Arroyo Valley for sure to expand it.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question. I did hear you say that you're working with Dr. Greer as it relates to African American students. However, when I look at there's other areas like, dealing with Asian population, I'm just looking at anything that's below 100. When I just look at that, what are we doing in terms of just English learners, special education, just making sure, one, that the students that are, where their numbers are low, we're getting them the resources, but sustainability, even with the African American students, how are we making sure they're successful in the program, even once they're accepted?
You're specific with one particular school or like in both?
Just in general, just the plan.
So
we could stick with Cajon, do Cajon first.
Okay. So in Cajon, you already see that the school has done a very good job in terms of African American representation in the IB program. But we need to continue to expand that to the other student groups. So what we need to make sure is, having a good, solid foundation and preparation in the MYP program. So there is more opportunities and foundational preparation for the students for all the subgroups so they can take on the rigorous courses. These courses are very rigorous. So we need to prepare them at the, Holcomb, or we need to prepare them at, Chavez and even other schools to get them ready for these exams. So it has to start early.
Exactly. Thank you.
Ms. Grande?
Yes, I have two questions. First, I want to say thank you. It's exciting to hear. It feels good. My questions are, how long have you been collecting this data? When did this program start, and where did this brainchild begin?
IB?
Yes.
I think IB has been there forever. So in my 8 years, IB was already there. I really don't have knowledge about how many years, but I know Cajon has had the IB program. And I know Dr. Rodriguez went to Cajon, right? Dr. Rodriguez? You went to Cajon, you were in the IB program?
Yeah.
So it's been there for a long time.
I think,
Go ahead, Anna.
we're saying possibly about 35 years. And I did
35.
want to mention that we're really working on tutoring for some of the students that are in the advanced placement classes because they are so rigorous. So we are trying to help with outside tutoring, inside tutoring, encouraging schools to have some kind of systematic way of them to be able to help them.
Really like that because with all the pathways and the it's okay not to go to college field that we have, so all children feel included in our plans. I think it's still important to say we can do both. We could go to college, but keep our eye on the ball when those great jobs in communications or in retail or in auto sales. Wouldn't you like to sell fancy cars? I would. That sounds like fun. But let's keep going to college. It speaks to me. I really like that because when you're a young person, I consider 30 a young person. It's hard to try to decide what you want to do. So I like our message as a school that there's a pathway for everyone, but let's not forget college is very important. We need to learn about the world in which we grow up in, and that's global. There's only one way to do it, and it's not YouTube. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grande. Ms. Ceballos?
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for the presentation so far. This is really amazing, and thank you for all the work that you all have been putting in. It's really exciting, right? And although again there's much room for improvement, I think I get excited, right? It does sadden me a little bit to see there's only 2 high schools, right? We have many more, but we got to start somewhere. It also saddens me a little bit to see Arroyo Valley so far behind as well. And so hopefully we continue to work, to kind of raise some of those numbers. I was looking at, your English learner. Thank you so much, by the way, for including that information as well, because sometimes when the numbers are so low, they get omitted, and you did not. So thank you for including all of that information. Just really, again, we need to continue to work to raise some of these numbers. Hopefully in your discussions as you guys continue to work through some of this, I heard you say that, maybe opening another MYP school,
I would personally like to see maybe Martin Luther King. That was my middle school that I attended. So, that would be great if we could, somehow make that a feeder school to Arroyo Valley for some of these programs. Also, another question, a question that I had come up as you all were presenting was Cajon. So I was wondering for both Cajon and Arroyo Valley, what are the elementary school feeder schools that kind of lead up to, to both of those high schools, and then also how many students, for example, at Cajon, from the different groups, right, from the different population groups, are homeschool? Is Cajon and Arroyo their homeschool? Do we have that information? Are they transfer students? Or, what's the composition look like?
So IB is lottery. If Chavez students meet the criteria, it's a pipeline. Students who meet the IB criteria, they can make the choice of whether going into Cajon or Arroyo Valley. Most of them tend to choose Cajon because of the proximity. And plus we open up seats from other schools. And then based on, the numbers, we look at every year the number changes between Arroyo Valley and, the Cajon. We look at the total numbers on our seats that are open, and then we feed into, those programs. And honestly, there is not one student that is turned away that applies for the lottery. And Arroyo Valley especially has been very good about, are there any extra students? Are there anyone in the wait list? We will take them. So they've always been they're very aware that they want to expand. As I mentioned, as we go through the presentations, there are also many other advanced. IB is one advanced opportunity, right? There's also dual enrollment. There's also AP. They are really hitting it out of the park with those things. So sometimes the focus, when something goes really well, like there is more energy in focusing on those programs. So Cajon has been very steadfast about focusing on the IB. And they do a good job with that. So, but there are opportunities if the students or whoever is applying, and if they meet that criteria, we have a place for them.
Do we have any data like right now? And if you don't, that's okay. But do we have data regarding where the percentages of the students that are in these programs? What high schools are they coming, from, or are they all from?
We offer at least minimum of 10 seats from each one of the high schools.
Okay, so we have at least 10 students.
At least 10 students that are from the different geographical area from each. If their home school is Sanji, we offer at least in the minimum, we offer those 10 students.
I would like maybe in a Friday update if we can.
I can give you that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So the next one is advanced placement. Sorry, I lost my page. So we have 1,382 high school students enrolled in AP courses across the district. 393 students passed an AP test with 3 or higher in 23-24. That's roughly 28% of our students. That is indeed a low passing average. 19 different AP courses are offered across the district. Top 6 courses taken by our students are AP English Literature, English Language, AP Spanish, AP US History, AP American Government, and AP Biology. We have started offering some pre-AP courses that are aligned with our scope and sequence to expose students to the AP course format so they can be more successful in taking the exams. We are proud to announce the starting of the first advanced placement course in African American Studies at Indian Springs for the school year 24-25. Remember, I came to you 2 years back saying that we are proposing it just happened this year. This will be a pilot year for us. Currently, 21 students are enrolled in it, but this course is garnering more interest, and we are sure that the enrollment will increase in the coming years. This course satisfies the elective A through G credit and also the ethnic studies requirement. More than 350 colleges and universities provide college credit for this AP exam. There is a national trend of 80% pass rate for this course. Students in this course complete a 3-week research project and analyze primary sources using Smithsonian digital collections, among other things. This is the enrollment data for current and last year. Our district enrollment of high school students is higher by 1,372 students than last year. Even though we have more students enrolled in the AP, there is an increase of 117 students enrolled in the increase in the AP. As a percentage of total students, our graph looks lower. Last year, 1,719 students took AP courses, but this year, 1,836 students are taking AP courses. We also see such increases across all student and program groups. Foster youth did have an increase in the raw numbers. It is 17 students more. However, the percentage is lower given the large decrease in the overall foster youth. Foster and homeless numbers fluctuate month to month and year to year frequently. You can also see that the enrollment numbers of the English learners have increased in the AP courses. As you see from this data, our passing percentage has steadily increased at every school except Pacific and San Bernardino High. The drop in Pacific is, however, very slim. What are next steps? As a district, we operate with a keen eye to increase participation from all student and program groups. Again, the TIP policy implementation for the advanced programs are done with the collaborative work with EDSA and with school sites to increase enrollment and achievement of African American students in AP courses. We are working with Cal State San Bernardino through an AP collaborative measure where students get tips from professors at the college on how to approach AP classes and pass AP exams. Low enrollment courses for AP will be considered for AP and dual enrollment opportunity combo. AP Chicano Studies is being researched for offering. That's the end of this topic.
Mrs. Alexander had a question, and then Mrs. Medina.
I've had the fortunate for both my kids, one to go through IB and one to go through AP. And I can't emphasize them as much as they need the support. So with the resources that are available, will there be support for the students once they're in either one of the programs? What kind of support are we offering? I've heard about, EDSA I know provides resources, but I'm really curious to know what we would do because that's something that I think is of need.
So that's a great question. Some schools are thinking about double blocking AP in order to get extra support for the students, like how we double block many ELA and math. It's high time that we start focusing on all these advanced learners too, because there is a huge potential there. That's the population that we cannot ignore. Additionally, we are also there is now lots of tutoring services available for them. Students can take opportunities with a one-on-one tutoring, and most of them they're offered in the online format, and also some in-person tutoring is being offered. Currently, it is more like the students have to seek it, but I think double blocking, especially some specific classes of APs, provided the master scheduling will allow it, and we have sufficient number of, it's always a balancing between the enrollment in the classes and what happens when we double block, right? So we have to take into account the enrollment and the class sizes. So that's pretty much what, it's the juggling of the master schedule that prevents it more than the intention to offer it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you for also this presentation. And I'm really excited to see that we do have officially our African American studies. I think this is really important. Hopefully there's also mentioned within even the media itself, because as you would hear in past times, states were removing it completely. And so here in California, we're trying to make sure, especially in San Bernardino, how do we bring this to our students and really have an understanding? So I'm really excited that 2021, it's only going to grow. I feel like this is going to be one of those programs that is not just for African American students, it's for any students that want to learn more about history and so forth and understanding. So I'm really excited, and I'm also glad that we're looking also into Chicano studies as well. Hopefully, do you have a timeline for that, or is that something we're looking?
Usually, when we start proposing this idea, it takes a minimum of 2 years to get it.
Okay, but at least we're moving in that direction, which is great. And then I do notice that San Gregorio High School did decline a little bit as well. For the school sites that need that extra support, do we have extra funds for that? What are we doing specifically to make sure that they have the resources necessary?
Which slide are you referring to?
The AP pass rates. I'm sorry, San Bernardino High School.
Yes.
That's what happens when I don't wear my glasses on. I'm seeing it. Okay. Because I didn't see San Gregorio High School. Is it not in there?
I think we did not include that data.
So,
I'll revise that.
Yeah, but they do have the programs.
Of course.
Yes. Okay. Maybe that's what I was confusing it with. All right.
Sorry about that.
Okay, no, that's okay. And then, same thing with San Bernardino High School. It's just trying to look at how we can help support them. And I know with the budget, we just had the conversation, what can we do to add extra funding if it's possible to support the whole department in that area? And then I have one more question with regards to, so how are students accepted into the program? I know that, and I'm so glad the superintendent mentioned that we will be having a presentation later on for students who are identified as GATE or advanced learners. And so many times students are not able to enter programs because they don't have the GPA. So I'm curious on how we're reaching out for students to enter these AP classes or show interest.
So,
do they have to have a certain GPA? In
no,
that sense?
we really don't. In San Bernardino, one thing is we really don't use GPA as a factor not to allow students to enter any of the programs. If you hear something like that, it is absolutely untrue.
Okay, good.
So I can tell you in public, that's not what it is. And if there is something is happening, then it is good to bring it to our attention. So we know that, we can have those conversations. Having said that, students take PSAT exams in 8th grade and in 9th grade. They develop what is called an AP potential.
Okay.
And then it is the conversation, and especially if there is a student that is showing interest and want to enroll in some AP, I don't think the counselors definitely have to take that into account and see that they are enrolled and their 4-year plan reflects that. It is more like our challenge is more students come on over, like, you want to be in the AP. So we are trying to get that. The interest that many of the students have taken into dual enrollment, we still don't have that kind of a push for AP, but we are trying to change because our goal is to offer all options. and it is for the students to naturally gravitate towards what they think is best for their case scenario.
And then it goes back to the counselors then to try to encourage students.
Correct.
And so then maybe we can in the future have, what are we helping, how are we helping our counselors? And maybe it's, I don't want to say additional training, but trying to see what we can do to help support them. But thank you.
Ms. Shahusky?
Thank you. I appreciate this. My daughter, saved me 2 semesters worth of tuition, AP classes did. So I think it's important that we offer these and have an option for someone that doesn't, dual enrollment has a very different commitment, or IB has a very different commitment than AP classes.
Right.
And so I think it's very important that we do that. And my question is about AP fees. Are they still charging fees for the AP tests, and do we waive the fees?
Say that one more time?
For the AP tests, are they still charging fees to?
We cover everything.
cover the fees?
Students are not asked to pay any fees.
Okay, that one, I thought that was true for us, but I wanted to make sure, because I know sometimes that can be prohibitive in just getting the students to take the tests. So I'm glad to know that we cover the fees, because like I said, 2 semesters worth just in AP tests.
No, district covers all the fees.
Ms. Chavez?
Thank you. I'm concerned with, as an AP student at San Bernardino High School, I'm concerned with the numbers dropping. And I feel like something that isn't very known are resources like the tutoring. So I feel like, how can we market that, or how can we promote that and make it known?
So we have marketed that, but the thing is, it doesn't matter how much we market. If it is not reaching you, then we haven't marketed enough. So with that said, we have marketed them in our SBC USD pages, and we have provided, there's a contract with Valdez, we have then BrainFuse, we have 2 different contracts, then there is a Khan Academy that prepares for the AP test. So these are all the resources that every AP teacher and the school should be aware of, because communications have been sent to all the schools. Now that you mentioned it, we will send it again. So the more and more we continue to communicate it multiple times is when it's going to reach. Thank you for asking that question.
Thank you for your information.
Ms. Ceballos?
Thank you so much. Just to kind of follow up on that question, Ms. Chavez, have you used any of the resources?
Not really, other than just the practice tests that our teachers provide.
And may I ask why not?
I wasn't very aware of the resources.
Got it. Okay, because that was my next question. I was going to ask if you had how did you tap into them? But that's a question. So the great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Maybe we can, maybe work with the schools administrators a little bit more to kind of make sure that if we're paying for those services that the students
we are paying. And again, this is an opportunity to reach the students. If you need help, ask. Did you ask your teacher? Go to the teacher. Hey, I need help. I need some extra support. Same, if you don't get it from the teacher, go to the counselor or call the district office. So you will get, support.
But ensuring that we do also work with administrators to make sure that they know, because sometimes teachers may also not know. And then can you help us maybe explain to us the difference between AP and IB for those of us that may not be super familiar?
So advanced placement courses is not, it's done by College Board. So the courses are offered, very rigorous courses. Courses are offered in several subject areas, and the College Board conducts the exams for it. If you pass with level 3 or higher, then the schools, when you go into a college, the college looks at your transcripts and your passing scores and provides college credits for you. So for example, I have seen few students that have taken enough number of AP classes that they even have joined in a sophomore standing. They may not all colleges accept, for example, if you can do a math class, and not all students at colleges would say, no, I'm going to accept your math. You don't have to repeat the math. Some colleges want to do the math, but they said, you have taken rigorous courses in your school. That has made you that much more selective. That is why you are in our institution. And we are going to give you credit. That's going to go into your number of credits that you're earning, and that's going to put you in a sophomore standing. So that is the AP. It is offered by College Board. IB is a global program. There is a set of requirements for IB. For example, there are 6 areas in IB, and students have to pass from those 6 subject groups. In addition to that, they also have to satisfy some core components. In the 6 subject areas that they pass, they have to take a minimum of 3 subject areas, definitely math and ELA is one of them, where they have to take the higher level exam. In the other 3 subjects, they can just take a standard level and pass it. There are some very rigorous requirements for the IB diploma, for students to get the IB diploma. Irrespective of whether the students are going towards a diploma or not, just being in these subjects, being in these classes, raises the rigor for the student. And if they take the individual, a student could say, I want to just take the English literature, but I really don't want to go into a diploma course. The student can potentially be in that class, take the exam, get a 4, and get college credit. So this offers rigorous level classes for the students and an opportunity for the students to pursue. But in order to get the diploma, they have to completely fulfill all the requirements.
Got it. The next question, you said that Ms. Medina had asked a question on who or how they get accepted to the program. And you had mentioned PSAT in 8th grade and another grade?
That's for advanced placement.
Okay, so that was for 8th grade and what other grade?
8th and 9th.
Do all 8th and 9th graders take it, or is it given to select students?
Most of them, in high school, they do take it. In 8th grade, many of the schools do offer it to the students.
So in 9th grade, every 9th grader takes it?
Most of them, 9th and 10th, right? 10th grade.
Okay. And then last time that we had a board meeting, we briefly touched on, elementary level GATE students. And I had asked that if it was possible for us to assess all instead of sending a, permission slip. I don't know if maybe you included that in the Friday update, but I want to make sure that I bring that back around this time. And then I think that was it, actually. Thank you.
There's a presentation that will be talking about the GATE program, so we can definitely ask that too as well.
You're out of order, Ms. Medina. Mrs. Shahusky.
So just to be clear for me, I always thought of IB as it's like a systemic program. Like you enter the IB program and it's something that goes over your 2 years, where AP classes are like individualized. So I can be in the regular program, regular high school kid, but I can decide I want to do the AP Chem or AP,
Correct.
Chicano Studies or AP African American Studies. So I can pick and choose. It's not like a systemic program. Yes. So any student can access AP classes without actually being in, a program, whereas IB and dual enrollment are both like systemic programs.
You're
like
correct.
You enter into the program.
About IB, you're absolutely right. They have to be, if they really are pursuing an IB diploma, they have to satisfy a set of requirements. But in AP, I can just pick and choose.
Yeah,
I want to be in AP Spanish, then I can just choose AP Spanish and I can.
I love all the programs, but one of the things I like about AP program is that every student is capable of accessing an AP
Correct.
class that they're interested in and having that opportunity. So that's something that I'm hoping that, because I know we haven't always had a lot of AP offerings at all of our high schools, but that's one of the things I'm hoping that we can broaden, even if it's part of the other programs, just because it is so accessible for so many students in their interest areas, AP Psych and AP Language, and I mean there's like an AP class for just about every topic. So.
Okay.
Early college credits. Dual enrollment continues to be a bright spot among our district's advanced programs. Thanks to the efforts of our board and cabinet, we have made huge strides in expanding dual enrollment. This is going to very soon put us on the state map for having a vast dual enrollment program, if it has not already. 2,188 students took and passed the dual enrollment courses. This is up from 1,290 students last year by 898 students. 47% of the classes met the A through F requirements. 90.7% of the courses offered were UC and CSU transferable. 9.32% of the classes were part of the certification program, and that also increased from 7.8% last year. Since 2020, we have expanded the offerings to 9th and 10th graders to meet our governor's vision of 12 college units by 2030. Approximately 70% of our students were successful with dual enrollment courses. Our students really seem to thrive in dual enrollment courses compared to all advanced courses offered. I'm pleased to introduce Zoe Campbell, an exceptional alumni of SBC USD and a current student at UCLA who graduated from Cajon High School. Zoe is currently serving as a college intern in our secondary education, college and career department. Her contributions have been invaluable, and we are delighted to have her on our team. Today, Zoe will dazzle you with her insights and passion for dual enrollment. She's a true example when we talk about how our SBC USD students shine. Take it away, Zoe. You see how popular she is in our department. She has a personality.
Good evening. Oh, okay. Good evening, board, cabinet, and student representatives. I'm Zoe Campbell, a former SBC USD student, Cajon Cowboy, and now UCLA sophomore. While at Cajon High School, I participated in dual enrollment, a program that allows students to enroll in college classes while still being in high school. It allows students to save huge amounts of money, get ahead in college credit, and to have a preview of how college classes work, as well as the workload given. While taking classes at Valley College during my junior and senior years, I was able to earn 12 college units, which equated to $7,000 in savings. These programs allowed the hardworking families in San Bernardino access to free college education and allow their high school students to be home and supported by their high school staff they know and love. Knowing the work I put in wasn't just for a stole I'd wear at graduation, but counted as college credit, which would save me an entire semester, was amazing to know. Being in dual enrollment allowed me to get a preview of what it would be like in college, including the workload and difficulty of assignments. It was my first time using Canvas, for example, a common education platform that houses all college information like Google Classroom is for high schools. It was nice being able to figure that out prior to college because the site can be overwhelming at first. Going into UCLA's quarter system, I knew I'd have to keep up and not fall far behind. When I went to college, although it was overwhelming at times, taking dual enrollment made it easier to navigate. The dual enrollment programs at SBC USD are amazing, and I would highly encourage all students to explore them. The staff are guiding students who are scared or don't believe in themselves, but want to enroll to be bold and just try. It may be hard at first, but you won't know until you try. We need to continue to encourage all students to take advantage of this program, which is why I always tell my friends that are still in high school about the dual enrollment and how it will help them get ahead both academically and financially. I feel like a lot of kids simply don't know about it or realize, the opportunity they have access to. This is a part of my purpose. I currently work as a college intern on the secondary ed college and career team. Part of my job now is to help build the social media presence and knowledge of these programs for our students and the community. I'm excited to do this work, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we have 3 interns at San Bernardino, and they are all our alumni, and They are instrumental in building the entire secondary education, college and career website. So if you want to go check it out, you will see how amazing.
Can I ask, Zoe, do you commute
Zoe.
or do you?
Come over here.
I'm gonna come back every other Friday because I'm working on some social media stuff to just keep up with it.
Okay, thank you.
So how do students get into dual enrollment classes? Dual enrollment is open to all students grades 9 through 12. I want to quell the misconception that only certain students can take dual enrollment course. This is untrue. They are open to any student to enroll. We are one of the only few districts who have opened these courses to our continuation school students as well. Students work with their college and career readiness teachers to complete the Valley College application process and also the course options. Dual enrollment courses are included in the registration for the fall scheduling course requests. We have different types of early college credits that are available to our students. CCAP courses are dual enrollment courses offered within the regular school day. Non-CCAP courses are dual enrollment courses offered before or after the regular school day. Concurrent enrollment courses are courses taken by students on their own. They are responsible for the fees and the books. This used to be the traditional method. Articulation provides college credit for certain courses that are taught by our high school teachers. Current colleges we articulate with are CSU San Bernardino Valley College, Crafton Hills, Chaffey, Riverside Community College. As I previously mentioned, CCAP is offered during the school day and non-CCAP is offered after or before school. Not all students have the ability to take dual enrollment class after school based on multiple issues. That is why the state provided us with the seed money to ensure we can incorporate some college classes within the school day. So as you can see, we have 9 courses that are being offered across schools. This is just a sample of what are the CCAP courses that are offered at our school sites. And most of our courses satisfy our 8 through F credits. In this graph, the blue represents the total dual enrollment for fall 2024 for the district among different groups. Blue bar is the total of the dual enrollment. Orange bars are the CCAP courses offered during the school day, and the gray bars are non-CCAP courses offered outside of the school day. We also offer summer term for dual enrollment, and around 6% or 254 students took advantage of that during the 2024 summer. It's very important that we provide these flexible options, especially offering outside of the school day and in summer, if dual enrollment does not fit within the student's regular 4-year academic plan. This slide represents the grade level breakdown. Yellow is the data I shared with you on May 7th. That's the 4th bar. Blue is the newest data representing this year. More students at each grade level are taking more college credit courses and passing those courses. You can see a steep increase in this fall. This slide shows the passing rates for students earning college credit. From 2019-20, to school year 23-24, students passing and earning college credits have nearly tripled in all the student groups and programs. Before we end, we want to spotlight the Elevate Academy at Arroyo Valley High School. Early college at Arroyo Valley High School is a middle college on a comprehensive high school campus. It provides high school students with access to all the events, clubs, activities, and athletics during their high school experience while taking college courses on the AVHS campus. The instructional program directly mirrors middle college. SBC USD got a grant seed money from the state for funding for the first 4 years. Since SBC USD already had a middle college that did not have a room to expand, we decided to provide additional opportunity for the SBC USD students. And the board has been steadfast in asking questions. Why can't we have more than one middle college? Remember, like every year we had come, why can't we have more than one middle college? And this is the concept now. 9th graders currently in this middle college are taking 2 college courses. Beginning 10th through 12th grade, they are going to take 4 courses per school year. We had a lot of collaboration between the district office, Arroyo Valley High School, Middle College, and Valley College over the past year to start this program in 24-25 school year. Arroyo Valley High School team was committed, and SBC USD's first early college program is in effect for the 24-25 school year. Started this year is the 9th grade cohort, and we will be creating additional cohorts as each year goes by. We want to give a shout out to Arroyo Valley. We are very proud of the work the Arroyo Valley High School team has done to establish this groundbreaking program. Thanks to Mrs. Applegate for her support. She made this program happen. Next steps. Dual enrollment is offered and promoted to all student groups. And you do see the data reflecting that. A few of the next steps regarding our dual enrollment program are to ensure equity among all student groups with a particular focus on our TIP and our English learners. We have expanded our collaboration meeting to include ETSA, Swiss, and multilingual departments during our college and career readiness teachers meeting to support the dual enrollment systems and targeted supports. Program specialists from secondary ed and ETSA are collaborating on supports for our African American students through the MTSS program. Secondary ed presented to A through G to African American families, and we hope to include dual enrollment in this year's presentation. We have increased the college courses offered within the regular school day. We are developing systems of supports for students and training the staff about the dual enrollment best practices. We have dedicated staff for dual enrollment processes, and we will continue to expand the early college program within the comprehensive high schools. And this concludes my presentation, and thank you for providing us with this opportunity.
Mrs. Alexander?
Thank you for the excellent presentation. Just a couple questions related to the next steps. Developing systems of support, does that include increasing the resources to help with even the transition from middle school to high school in order to make sure we're properly feeding into these programs?
So more than that, we are thinking how we can create supports within the high school currently. That's what we are working on. When you take the CCAP courses, we don't have classes every day with the Valley College. So there is a teacher of records associated with each one of the CCAP classes. 3 days, it will be the Valley College professors that will be coming and teaching. Then that leaves 2 days for the teacher of record to support the students. So all these regular day dual enrollment classes are inherently built where the support is present for our students. So that is why it's like really fantastic program to offer. And some schools have been very intentional about creating those support classes to support the dual enrollment program. And Pacific is one of them.
And how about the support for the teachers as well? Just making sure from a professional development standpoint that they're prepared and they're able to.
They are being trained on the best practices, and especially it is more the CCRTs that are coming together. What should a dual enrollment class offer in a high school setting? So it's more like a articulation and conversation.
And is there any consideration with increasing the number of schools from middle school, the middle school feeding into Arroyo, because Arroyo is sharing with Cajon? So is there any consideration?
For the IB?
Yes.
That is, so one of the things that we are really looking at is what could be strategically, geographically, one of the recommendations that we do want to make to the cabinet is where could we strategically start an MYP at a middle school setting that could have a natural feeding in terms of geographical location to Arroyo Valley. That's something we need to, we are looking into.
Thank you.
Ms. Grande?
Okay, I predict one day we will see all that you have presented today submitted to research, educational works, magazines, books, even podcasts. We will create an invaluable and important resource, not just for San Bernardino City Unified School Districts, but beyond our city limits. And I thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's teamwork.
Yeah.
And our schools are doing amazing work in this. And we are fired up CCRTs and principals who are doing this work. Thank you.
Ms. Medina.
Yes. Again, thank you so much for the presentation. I'm really excited to see that that we are increasing in huge numbers the amount of students attending both college and high school. And it was a big push for us to try to increase. How do we make more middle college high schools within our school sites? And so I'm really glad that we're doing that. I do want to kind of emphasize, last year we had a few students who were taking the AP and the IB programs and so forth. And one of their side comments was that there's a lot of focus, which is great. A lot of focus with regards to dual enrollment. And some students feel like maybe with AP and IB, it's going to start to diminish. And so we just want to make sure that within the school district, dual enrollment is a great thing. But of course, AP and our IB programs will still be high quality and ensure that we still continue those supports because they did mention a lot of those rigorous universities, those hard to get into universities such as Harvard or those prestigious ones, they really do look at the AP and the IB programs as well. So that's why for them it felt it was still really important that we continue the quality of those two programs as well.
Again, options are, that's why very crucial. We are not pitting one program over the other. We are providing all the options, and it is definitely, if the student wants to pursue those private universities and AP is, so the students have to really look at what is a college that I really want to go into, and then go into their website and read what is that they are really looking for. Once you know that these are the things that they are looking for, and then pursue your high school, whether it is AP route or IB route or dual enrollment route, then they are really gearing their resume towards those specific colleges of their interest.
Oh, and I appreciate that. Like
so
I
we
said,
have to offer options.
Yes, and I'm really glad that we're doing that in high numbers, which is amazing. And just one real quick question for those that are interested, students that are interested in attending the AP African American Studies, how do they get an opportunity to enroll? Because it is at Indian Springs High School. Is there opportunity, or is this just for Indian Springs High School students?
Currently, it is offered for Indian Springs High School. There was a teacher that was trained and ready to take it. In the meantime, we are also exploring other schools. So we will be definitely pushing into a few other schools.
Mrs. Alexander?
I forgot to also acknowledge Zoe. Zoe, thank you for coming back. We appreciate you. Great presentation.
Thank you for the presentation, and also congratulations to Ms. Campbell. It's a big deal to get accepted at UCLA. Another big deal to make it to your sophomore year. So we're proud of you. You make us look good.
President Tillman, if I may, I would just also like to extend an invitation to our district college fair that we'll be having Thursday at 5 o'clock at the Inland Center Mall. So you can continue to see the great work happening. Thank you, team. Fantastic job.
Section 9, board discussion. For some of you who don't know how the board agenda process works, the district staff gets together and puts the items together for the agenda, and then I review the agenda draft on Thursday, and sometimes I'll add some stuff or take stuff off. In this case, because of the issues we were having with the fires, I didn't know what direction the whole fire thing was going to take. So I want to make sure I had an item on the agenda in case there were issues that were persisting this week. There are no issues persisting, so we have no need to take on 9.1. Section 10, action items. 10.1, personnel report.
As presented. Second.
Moved by Ms. Chahosky, second by Dr. Wyatt. Vote, please. Motion passed. 10.2, resolution to allow temporary pause of grades and attendance due to district emergency.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Wise, second by Ms. Chahosky. Vote, please. Motion passed. 10.4, approval of unaudited actual financial report, fiscal year 2023, 2024.
Move.
Moved by Mrs. Alexander.
Excuse me, we passed 10.3.
I'll go back
Okay,
to it.
all right.
But go ahead and go with 10.4. I had a motion for 10.4. Yeah.
I'll second.
And second by Ms. Medina. Vote, please. Motion carried. 10.3, resolution of district emergency, line fire 2024.
Move.
Moved by Ms. Alexander and second by Ms. Chahosky. Vote, please. Motion carried. 10.5, approval of district appropriations limit calculations for fiscal year 2023, 2024.
So move.
Moved by Mrs. Alexander, second by Ms. Chahosky. Vote, please. Ms. Chavez?
Aye.
Ms. Gallardo?
Aye.
Motion carried. Section 11, consent items. 11.1, approval of consent items.
Move.
Moved by Dr. White, second by Ms. Chahosky. Vote, please. Well, first, are there any to pull? Vote, please. Ms. Chavez?
Aye.
Ms. Gallardo?
Aye.
Motion passed. Section 12. Reports, comments by union organizations. 12.1, San Bernardino Teachers Association,
No report.
California School Employees Association,
No report.
Communication Workers of America,
No report.
San Bernardino School Police Officer Association.
No report.
13.1, reports and comments. Board members, Mrs. Alexander.
Well, good evening. Wanted to first acknowledge our Folklorico dancers. Did an excellent job just jump-starting our meeting. And also, happy Latino Heritage Month. I had an opportunity to actually attend a celebration this weekend on Sunday that was for the county. So it was really nice. So I just wanted to put that out there for everybody who celebrates Latino Heritage Month. Wanted to give my condolences to India Hester's family, who is a graduate of San Gregorio. She passed away in a tragic accident. I know we're going to close out our meeting in her honor, but I just wanted to also give my personal just acknowledgement and condolences to the family. Today, I had an opportunity to attend the Operation School Bell program. I want to give a special shout out to Dr. Rodriguez's team for family engagement. It's in collaboration with the Assistance League of San Bernardino. We had over 30 students today from different schools, stemming from elementary all the way to high school. And what's significant about the program is that we are making sure we're providing resources for students who are foster youth, homeless youth, as well as students of need. And the impact that we are having is that we're making sure that they're getting resources like clothing and also hygiene bags. And it's done once a month. But without the family engagement team, we would not be able to make that impact. So just wanted to make sure that giving acknowledgement, because I believe we did have a speaker that spoke on behalf of what we're doing for the homeless community. And we're making an impact. And I think, that's just small, but every little step counts. And definitely it's just good to see the students' faces and just making sure we're putting a smile on them and just making sure that they're feeling good about themselves. So while it's just one step, but it's something that we are doing to give back to the community. And then lastly, there was a HBCU, I guess, at San Gregorio through UCAN today. And the highlight there was today was National Voter Registration Day, and over 38 students were in attendance and actually registered to vote. We had talked about that a few meetings ago, so you can register students at 16. So it's pretty significant just to highlight that. So great job to the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and Links Incorporated, and UCAN for what they did. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Medina.
Yes, I just wanted to say that after what we experienced with the fires, and I know that there was some incidences in the past, like for instance when we had the flood, that we didn't close schools down. I do really want to look at how can we create protocols. I know we have a department, but how do we engage staff within the school district, kind of like the staff on standby, and those that are ready, that if there is an incident where we have to shut down, or possibly looking at it, there's a committee of both parents, community members, staff, people that are ready to take those protocols on in case an incident like what just happened happens. So I don't know if there's a possibility that we can try to create a committee with community members, staff, and so forth, and trying to look at how we can create staff on standby, similar to that. I know you. So I'm looking at something where we can actually have those conversations and try to prepare beforehand. So I know we have an emergency department and, with Eric that does it, but it is also making sure maybe there's staff that are really interested and want to sign up. So I definitely would like to look more into that. I also want to acknowledge, I received an email from from Molly, actually from PSEDG, from Andrea, who works with PSEDG, People's Collective for Environmental Justice. And so they introduced us, and I forwarded the email to our board president, vice president, and the superintendent, from Molly Ryan, who's with the American Lung Association. And they're wanting to donate through the Healthway 360 free portable air cleaners. And so maybe we can follow up with them to find out how we can bring those to our schools. And as well as with that same organization with PSEDG, bringing in children's masks for our students, so that way we can have those on hand if necessary. So just wanted to say thank you to them for reaching out to our school district and many other groups as well to help our students and staff.
Thank you, Ms. Medina. Ms. Grande.
Wow, it was a really exciting night. I just loved college. I couldn't leave. I was what they called a super senior. That meant I had way more enough credits, but I changed my major 5 times. So after I left, they implemented a new policy with their new freshmen. They had to sign a promise to try and leave in 4 years. So I just left myself behind there. But anyway, so I get really excited still talking about college. I just want to mention a couple of things. Thank you to Kiwanis of Greater San Bernardino. Today, we're hosting our own Chief Paulino as our speaker at today's meeting. And I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to hear him speak, but it's very, very wonderful. And I will invite you back again when he comes out. Kiwanis has announced a return to their annual toy drive to a district elementary school. Since COVID, they started it last year at Roosevelt. Last year it was Roosevelt School. Chief and I were there. He was him and I was Mrs. Claus. So it was pretty cool. This year I'll be the vice president of Kiwanis. This year will be Graciano Gomez Elementary, and I'm really excited. So we'll be planning a toy drive at our new meeting place. If you recall, it used to be at the Meatloaf for many decades, and the club got smaller over the years, and we were meeting at the Denny's in a room. Mr. Mauricio was there. So we do have a new place at Noah's Restaurant, a beautiful restaurant just opened on D Street, and they've kindly invited us in there, and it's a beautiful restaurant on the inside. And so we're really looking forward to that relationship. And the owners are very wonderful people. They really want to make a difference in our community, and they're really reaching out to that. So I'm just excited again about all of the wonderful things that are going on in our school district. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Grande. Ms. Ceballos.
Good evening. I also want to say thank you, a great job to the ladies from the Ballet Folklorico for coming out and putting such a great show. It's always nice. I also, happy Latino Heritage Month. Yesterday was actually Mexico's Independence Day, and I know a couple other Latin American countries have also celebrated theirs as well. I spent the weekend with my family. Saturday, we actually watched the Canelo fight, and we won. But I was really excited to see that fight because when Canelo was coming out, the singer that came out alongside him was Jesus Paz Ortiz, which is actually a student from our district that graduated from San Bernardino High School. He first attended Royal Valley and then transferred to San Bernardino High School. He's Latin Grammy award winner. He is huge success, and I just wanted to publicly acknowledge that. Hopefully one day we can also celebrate him, maybe hold some sort of something, bring him back to our community, as he is he's accomplished great things. So it was really nice sitting there watching the fight. I wasn't expecting that. So San Bernardino does indeed have a lot of great students come out of our communities. Also, let's see. I don't want to belabor, of course, the situation that happened with the line fire and such, but I agree with Ms. Medina. I think that there is something to be learned from that experience, and I really want to make sure that we take the opportunity to kind of not just move forward, but take some time to look in retrospect to see how we can better respond to situations like that in the future. I personally would recommend maybe going back to holding, some sort of, workshops where the board works together to develop some sort of governance handbook to kind of really outline how some of these things are handled when they do come up. So that's just my suggestion. I know that we had started, even when Mr. Irvin was here, we were beginning to kind of hold some workshops. And then when Mr. Arellano came on board, there were some conversations there too, but I'm not sure where they kind of left off. So I would, maybe look for consensus to, move forward with developing something like that. Do I? Okay.
Yes, I definitely support you on that.
Awesome. That's it. Thank you so much.
Dr. White?
Thank you, Mr. President, and I'll just build a little bit on what Ms. Medina and Ms. Ceballos said. In regards to, the fire and then the closure of schools, I do have a question for staff during my comments. On this BP 3516.5, the resolution for the line fire, is this a new resolution or board policy, or is this an existing resolution or board policy?
What allows us to access any reimbursements from the disaster declaration.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Arellano. And the reason why I ask is because, on Sunday we were receiving information, obviously, that the fire was burning and there was concerns about air quality in our city surrounding our schools. And the accuracy of the data information we receive is extremely important when we make decisions. I was able to go back and do a little bit of homework myself and learn a lot about air quality, a lot. And I know I shared it with some of my colleagues and found that, there were days that were worse than others. And if presented with that information, maybe we can make a faster or quicker decision, more informed decision. But my one concern is on Sunday, we didn't have a quorum. 4 of us were out of town. So obviously we could not meet, but can an emergency decision be made when that situation presents itself? Right, because the governor claims an emergency, and if we're not able to convene a meeting and make a decision as a majority board, does the board president or the superintendent or together have that authority to make a decision? That was a question I've been wondering about all week, and
yes,
and it is yes, right?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I could have said to the superintendent, we're going to shut down schools for Monday and Tuesday. The one thing that was lost in some of the conversation went back and forth. When we got the information in terms of the numbers, where we're at in terms of air quality, the stipulation was, what do you do in this type of air quality? And the answer was, you shelter in place and you run your air conditioning. That's what the recommendation is. To me, it became obvious that a lot of our students do not have air conditioning.
Point of order.
What's that?
Just point of order, because if we're going to have a discussion, I want to chime in.
We probably should, and I think we did. And so,
and that's what I'm talking about, because it was agendized.
Okay. Yeah, and so I think, as you said, President
Tillman. As long as
Tillman,
I'm elaborating, because we had an item on here. The key is to have the item so you can have the discussion. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, that was a concern I had. So I'm glad that you did clear that up. I thought that we could make a decision.
Oh, I could have, yes.
Yeah, and the information I saw was actually much more severe than that, the data I've seen. So again, accuracy of data that we receive as a board or you as a president really enables us to make an informed decision. So, and that's what I want to make our decisions on. I want to make my decisions on as a board member. So beyond that, though, I'm glad we made the decision. We were able to convene as a board majority and then discuss it, and also give our staff and people in the community an opportunity to voice their concerns as well, which we heard loud and clear. So thank you for that, for everybody that came down and spoke. I do want to say thank you to our safety personnel that stayed on board at work 24/7 while our schools were still here to make sure that everything was okay, as well as our staff that still came in as well. I know staff did come in during the entire week, so thank you to them as well. I know with me, same thing was happening. When we closed schools, our operations do not actually shut down completely, so we still had staff coming throughout those days through the whole week. So thank you to them. do want to say a few of us got to join our SBTA Fall Leadership meeting over the weekend. It was nice to be able to meet with the leadership of SBTA, and then also, discuss just how things happen. And they're very understanding actually at that point. And it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback, as we would say, right? To say, well, I wish I could have done it, or you should have done that, but we still acted. But I want to say thank you for them, just for having us and letting us speak to them, as well as having great conversation and looking at our future together. And that is my board comments. Thank you.
Mr. Husky.
Thank you. I too want to thank Cajon at the Folklorico. I always love starting with the student presentations, and seeing their smiling faces today just really put me in the good mood and the right way to frame of mind to start our board meeting, and remembering what's important with our kids. To that end, I also want to give my condolences to the family and friends of India Hester, one of my very close friends. Was good friends with India, and so I know that there are a lot of our students that are hurting with her loss. So I just wanted to say my condolences. I was able to attend the mural unveiling for Dr. Henry at Henry Elementary School. Not a lot of my mom's age group is still around, and so it was really good to see her, because there's just so few of them left, and it just made my heart happy. And the mural is beautiful. So that was really nice. I'm really looking forward to the Miss and Mr. Cardinal celebration this weekend, and looking forward to seeing our Anna Victoria, who is one of the Miss Cardinal candidates, up there, and I wish all of them luck, but especially you. She's my seatmate. I would like to see, there's been a lot of things going on, but we haven't had any safe route walks or safe school audits recently, and I'd like to see those started back up. We did do one around Sierra and Pacific and Shandon Hills, but I'd like to see some more of our secondary walk audits, safety audits happen around our schools, just to kind of see what our conditions are and if we're doing the best that we can on our routes to and from school for our students. That was one of the places we were able to partner with the city and the county in terms of cleaning up some of the debris that our kids were walking through, monitoring some of the homeless encampments that are on the sidewalks and things blocking our kids' route. So I would like to see if we, could to start those back up again. And then I also want to thank our first responders and Patty Taylor is one of my best friends and a retired teacher from our district. It burned down to her house, and she called me at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then came over in the morning. So I know, the kind of job that they were doing in terms of saving structures on the line fire. And I feel for the folks that were impacted by the bridge fire and the airport fire, because they weren't quite as lucky as some of the folks from I hate to use that word because and then to our staff who are here, working throughout the week to get our schools ready to reopen after that. That being said, I have been through, I know you guys have sort of talked about this, but I want to talk about it in a little different way. I've been through more fires in my lifetime in the city than, I can count. And I would like to say if, but we all know that it's going to be a when the next fire happens. And so and I would like to see us actually put plans into place, rather than having kind of these conversations about all of this other stuff. I think we really need in our safety plans, those contingency plans and how we are going to service our kids who are homeless or underhoused, or who don't have access to, proper electricity or air conditioning or the things that they need to do that, so that we are ready and we have a plan in place, whether it be with volunteers, folks that are doing extra duty or getting extra pay or whatever, to come in and, open up some of our school sites so that they do have safe places to be, at least, for a majority of the day. Work with our CAPS folks. That might be another solution, is, run CAPS all day. I don't know what that looks like, but I think we might have some ideas that we can put into place, so that there are always going to be some contingencies that we're not ready for, because that's just sort of the nature of the climate beast. But, that we do have something where we can service the kids that need us, and also honor, the needs of our staff. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. I think it's important. I just want to state that we have processes in place. It's just my own personal opinion. You can have all the meetings you want to, but when the emergency occurs, that's the reason why you elect somebody as your president and your vice president, because if your president's not there, then it defers to the vice president. And in this case, I'm always totally transparent and want input from all board members. So when the incident occurred and took place on Sunday, and we had to make the decision, and I got calls from fellow board members who wanted to have an emergency meeting, my first thought was it's a whole lot better to have the entire board weigh in and decide the direction that we go, if we're going to shut down or stay open. I called the superintendent, asked him to talk to legal counsel and find out, can we do a remote meeting? He came back and said, legal counsel said, because it's an emergency meeting, you must have 4 members physically present, and then you can allow the other 3 to Zoom in. As soon as we didn't have the 4 people that could be here, that meant you couldn't have a meeting. I can't meet with people without having a formal meeting. So I can't talk to all the board members. Then it came down to the board president's decision. When I got the information in terms of the air quality, we knew the fire was moving east. And so because we knew the fire was moving east, it was obvious that the air quality here would be steadily getting better. And the truth of the matter is, on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the air was a whole lot better. It was, like I said earlier, because you shut down school, it does not mean that everybody's breathing clean air. You still got to breathe. So, and for me, what was obvious to me is some of my students would be better off in some of the schools that we have air conditioning in. And I heard people say some of the air wasn't working. A few classes don't have air conditioning. I take all that into account. But overall, they would have been better off in air conditioning units. That's my own personal opinion. The other problem was this. This was not like COVID. The order didn't allow for all non-essential jobs to shut down. The only organizations that weren't going to go to work are schools. And once you do that, then it's a burden on parents, because you have parents that work jobs that don't get leave and don't get sick leave. So that means they're going to lose money. I had someone call me on Tuesday asking me to shut down schools. That was their opinion. And then they turned around and said, hey, they happen to be one of the CAS providers, and then they wanted to get paid for the CAS, and we found out legally we couldn't pay them. And it was my concern. So that means you had all the CAPS employees and people that work for bus companies that didn't get paid. That matters to me. You're talking about people who make a minimum amount of money who now aren't going to get any money. And my argument to my fellow employees was, you can use your time, and we will make sure that the time you use, we're going to pay you back. That was the argument I made. And I did that to say I didn't want anyone coming to work that had ailments that would be exacerbated by the bad air. And I knew that anybody coming was going to have to drive to work, get out the car, and go to the classroom. Even the passing period is part of it. But that was my thought. But I say all that to say the process worked. When you have an emergency, someone's going to make the final decision. Even if we all meet, somebody's going to vote to make the decision. When you make that decision, you're not going to make everyone happy. That's just the reality of circumstance. And they're right about one thing. I'm not going to make a decision because another district made a decision. I don't know why Rialto made a decision, but I guarantee you, when they made it, it was a couple people that made it, and they made it for reasons that I have no idea why they did it. Rialto's a lot further away from the fire than we were. Why they decided to shut down, I'll never know. But I know that politically increased the burden on our district, because then you had people saying, well, the whole district in Rialto is shut down, so why don't we shut down the whole district here? That I don't follow that philosophy. When we had the instance with there was a hurricane, and the night before the hurricane came, the projection was the wind was going to be 30 miles an hour. That's not a hurricane. I live in North San Bernardino, and we get 100-mile-an-hour winds. A 30-mile-an-hour wind is not a hurricane. And it wasn't a guesswork. That was scientific. We knew that was the strongest wind. So I wasn't going to shut down school because of a projection of a 30-mile-an-hour wind, even if they were calling it a hurricane. And it turned out a lot of school districts did shut down, and our kids went to school in sunshine and turned out no rain. So and the kids were better off because they were in school. So in the end, we have to make the decisions, and it was not the first time. It won't be the last. I purposely didn't have discussion on the line fire item, because you got to remember, that was a unique circumstance. Not only did you have the line fire, but then you had this other fire. What was it called? The bridge fire and the airport fire. So what are the chances that's going to happen again? I'll be off the board. I know that for sure. Before all those 3 fires happen again, you know what I mean? So that's why I didn't discuss it. But it won't be the last emergency that comes up. But that's what you think about when you think about voting in your president and vice president. You know, I've been on the board for 29 years, and everybody doesn't become a vice president or president, because you're thinking about these type of circumstances when you pick those people to be in the key positions, because in the end, they're the ones who have to make that decision.
Sir, Danny, but you didn't,
I understand. Good. And that's the reason why when we had the emergency meeting, I also voted to shut down schools, because the hysteria and the concern had gotten so great that it was unreasonable to expect people not to have that concern and want to continue on. So it was obvious at that point it was best to shut down the schools for the entire district. And
I'm not disagreeing with you, though, and
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is correct. And I think what I'm more asking with, how do we prepare for the students? How do we prepare in case we do shut down? We already have mechanisms in place so that children are getting their food. So, and then people that can
Let me say
and
this.
willing to volunteer to stand,
Mr.
still
Dean,
work.
but you have to remember, the whole argument for the people that filled this room, their argument was no one should be working.
But we could.
That's what their argument was.
I know, but maybe they weren't fully aware. I think that's the thing, is that how do we make
It
sure
was-
that everyone, we
it
have
was-
protocols set that, so if this does happen, this, you can call off, there won't
Let
be
me
no
say this,
punishments and
And
so
I
forth.
really believe no matter what your protocols were, because surrounding districts shut down, the whole argument became, because they shut down, we're going to shut down. It was not they shut down, so we're going to have certain things open and certain people are going to work. It was past that. And I agree. I do agree with this, though. What we have to always do and remember is you're never going to have an instance where you shut everything down. You're going to always shut down, but they're going to be essential employees.
Right.
I worked for the county for 42 years. When we went through COVID, I never missed a day's work, because there were essential employees that had to come to work. Now, if I had some type of ailments where I knew if I got COVID, my chances were increased to die, I wouldn't have went to work. I don't care what nobody told me, because going to work, I got COVID. And it was before the vaccines. And it was because you going to work every day expose yourself to taking a chance of getting it. So, you know, that's what every employee has to decide, whether somebody tells you to go work or not. Are you going to really subject yourself to that. And if you're not healthy enough, you shouldn't. My only point being that you're always going to have essential employees that have to show up. So the problem I think we had is in some of the entities in the district had decided this is so great that no one should go to work and everybody has to stay home. And that's the argument they made, and that's what we ended up agreeing with because the concern was so great. Mr. Ariano.
Thank you, President Tillman. So let me first say welcome to Hardy Brown Jr. Thanks for being here today. Good to see you. It's been a while. Appreciate you being here. Special thanks to Cajon High School and the students of the Ballet Folklorico that put on a great show today. Very proud of our students here. I want to begin by just saying thank you to all of our staff who were here on Monday and Tuesday and stepped up for our students. Thank you for being here. And for our employees that couldn't be here, we support your reasons, and I know we're working hard with our union leader partners to look at the restoration of that leave. So I just want to let the board know that we are working towards that. I do want to share a special thanks to school police because as the entire district was closed down, our school police and school dispatchers were at work, making sure that all of our facilities and schools are safe. So a big thank you to them. I do want to thank all of the employees and who were honest with me, their feelings, sometimes even brutally honest. But that's okay. That's why we're here. I'm here to serve. You know, I love my team, I love my district, and I love my community unconditionally. I know my role is to have open ears when they have concerns, and I'm proud of the board. You were here on Tuesday night to hear those concerns, and we reacted to those concerns accordingly. So I agree with President Tillman that the process worked as best as it could, but there's always room to improve in everything. And I do thank President Ashley for her comments today about wanting to get together and kind of do an after-action discussion, and that is highly appropriate, and we will schedule that. So I want to thank Ashley for that. Just to make a few points clear, as we were preparing for Sunday, and we were not able to legally put together an emergency meeting based on the counsel that we got, we were feeding accurate data to President Tillman, which included the AQMD information. Eric was giving us up-to-the-minute information. President Tillman was asking all the right questions, meaning if the AQMD air levels is this, what is the guidance given with that? And the guidance at all of those levels never include shutting something down. So it talks about different levels of mitigation, whether it's stay indoors with air conditioning, stay indoors with air filtration, individuals with medical sensitivity. So the guidance never gets to the point of you must close schools. So I just want to reassure the board that President Tillman was asking the right questions and Eric Vitier was providing all the correct information so that the president, whoever it may be, whether it's Mr. Tillman or whether it's one of you in the future, just know that you're going to get the information that you need that is accurate and to the point to make that decision. I also, it was mentioned about the governance handbook, and the board might recall that when I started here the first several months, I talked about putting together some workshops so that we could put together a governance handbook. And for the people of the audience, it's basically these are agreements, right, that are worked between the board and the superintendent about how will we react when something happens. It doesn't necessarily have a disaster, even how we do work from day to day. So I believe I heard consensus, is that correct, President Tillman, to put together these workshops? So I will re-engage with Atkinson, Allison, lawyer, Rude and Roma, the law firm, to help facilitate us in putting together those governance handbooks. And they will provide you examples of other districts that put them together. So the board has something to work from. But to be clear, it will be your governance handbook. It will be what you want to do, not what other districts have done, but how we agree to work forward on that. So thank you, everybody, once again, just for being there for our kids, fighting through these hard decisions. And in the end, whether we agree or disagree, we're a community that loves each other, and we got to continue to move forward. So thank you, everyone, for having the positive attitude and the right attitude on that. So just a few things that I want to share today. It was mentioned today about the Bridge Committee. I know, I think it was Treasurer Ortiz that mentioned that. So I was sharing with President Tillman that I have been in communication with Interim Manager Rochelle Clayton, as you know, is a San Gregorio High School graduate, so she's homegrown too. But we have that conversation of bringing back that Bridge Committee, so that is something that is happening in the near future. I did want to let the board know that on October 22nd, we will include the gate information that was requested. On that same night, we will be giving the board information about the foster and homeless progress in our district. I want to go on record by thanking the PE teachers at San Gregorio High School. As everyone knows, one of my superintendent's objectives this year is to really look at our PE programs at the secondary. And so the first school that I visit was San G, and I have to say, the PE program at San G, I really appreciate what they were doing. Kids were engaged, kids were dressed, kids were moving, kids were stretching, and kids were happy enjoying the class. So my hat's off to the PE teachers at San G, and I look forward to visiting all the other PE programs in the coming days. So if we can put the slideshow up. You know, we always talk about great people being from right here. I know Vice President Ceballos talked about the young man from Fuerza Rigida, who's a Grammy Award winning from right here in San Bernardino. I want to highlight someone that maybe you may have never heard of, and this is Odell Lee. Odell Lee passed away on June 1st, 2024, coincidentally on his birthday. He was born same day, 1940. He was scheduled to graduate from San Bernardino High School in 1958. But at those times, there was a lot of turmoil, a lot of civil rights issues, a lot of hardship, and Mr. Lee had joined the U.S. Navy at the age of 16. He went on to earn his high school diploma when he was 23 years old, came back to attend San Bernardino Valley College, then UCLA, majoring in Russian politics, Russian studies. He then went and earned advanced degrees at Johns Hopkins University, and later at the Institute of Political Studies in Paris, France, where he first caught the eye of the CIA. And he was offered a job, and he was one of the first African Americans to serve as a case officer in the Covert Services Department, which is basically espionage. He later went on to serve as the intelligence analyst for the Office of Defense. And he wrote a book upon his retirement called The Formative Years of an African American Spy and Memoir. So that's Odell there, and that is his book. He went to Sturgis Middle School back in the day, and like I said, he was supposed to go to San Bernardino High School, and he was just an outstanding man. I had a chance to meet him many years ago and talk to him, and so he's just another great person from right here from San Bernardino, and my sincere condolences to his wife Nora and Marcos, but Odell was a great man, and so another good example of right here, great people. Next slide. We talked about Mr. Kiesel at our last board meeting, and we didn't really get a chance to talk about him, but he was here for 37 years, and he started here in 1972 and retired in 2009. He was an electrician in 1987 and then became lead electrician in 2003. Now, the reason I want to talk about him again is he owned the home that's no longer there right across the street from Riley School on 13th and G, where now I believe the water department owns that little corner lot. That's where the Kiesels lived. And his wife, Pam Kiesel, was the PTA president at Riley School when I was a young man there. And Mrs. Kiesel was one of the first people to help my mom, as you know, was one who didn't know English, didn't know how to navigate, but she was one of the first kind-hearted people to help my mom navigate the school program. So I owe a lot to the Kiesels, but you know, Bob was a great employee when I was here as a principal. He was always Johnny on spot, wanting to help. So we just want to share our condolences, not only with his friends and family, but his daughter Kim and his son Robbie were classmates of mine at San Marino High School, so I know they're hurting, but I want them to know that Mr. Kiesel is still in our hearts and had big impact. Next slide. And it was mentioned today, hate to end with this news, but it was mentioned India Hester, our graduate from San Antonio High School, class of 2023, died in a car accident, that terrible car accident right off University Avenue on the 215 over this weekend. She was very close with Dr. Gwen Dowdy Rogers because she was part of the Young Women's Empowerment Foundation. So I know Gwen is very affected by this tragic information. So our prayers and family are with India's family, and may she rest in eternal peace. Last slide, please. And as mentioned today, is we're celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month, which is obviously very special to me. And, growing up as a kid, we had people like Graciano Gomez, Judy Baez, Esther Estrada, Narciso Cardona, if you remember, worked here, Art Delgado. These are people from my generation that served as, people that we could aspire to. And I remember watching TV thinking, man, Chico and the Man is the only thing that you see on TV back in the day. Freddie Prinze or Ricky Ricardo. Or Sonia Manzano, if you were a Sesame Street, she was Maria on Sesame Street. So those were the only representations that you saw of Latinos back in the day on TV. And so I'm really proud of our country. I'm really proud of our community, and I'm very proud of our district that we've been focused on making great progress on inclusive excellence. And I know we still have a lot of work to do, but I wanted to highlight someone because many times we see the same names over and over. So I wanted to highlight someone today that I learned about, Vice Admiral Yvette Davis. She serves as the 65th Superintendent of the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. She is the first woman and the first Latino or Latina to serve as the Superintendent of the U.S. Naval Academy. And she was also the first woman and the first Latina woman to command a U.S. Navy ship, the U.S. Higgins, the USS Benfold, the USS Curtis, and the USS Bunker Hill. And she also served as the commander of Naval Surface Forces for the U.S. Pacific Fleet. So in honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month, I'd like to present Vice Admiral Yvette Davis as a mentor and someone to aspire for all of our students within our school district. And that's all I have today, President Tillman.
Thank you, Mr. Ariano. What would you like to say, Ms. Grande?
I just like to say, and I never got a party at that time. We didn't even celebrate it. But in 1999, I was elected to be the first Latina ASI student body president in Cal State San Bernardino. So I served for 2000 when we were all afraid all the computers were going to change in the world. We were Y2K, we were scared. And I led my students through that. There was a whopping 10,000 students at that time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that brings us to Section 14, Summary of Board Members' Requests. 14.1, Review of Request.
Good evening. The first request is from Mrs. Ceballos. She requested for information via the Friday update on which high school students are coming from Cajon or to Cajon High School and Arroyo Valley High School, their IB program. The second request is from Mrs. Ceballos. She requested to get information on how all third grade students can be tested instead of opting in for GATE. The next request is from Ms. Rosales Medina. She would like for the district to look into creating a committee of community and staff to create protocols for emergencies. The next request is also from Mrs. Ceballos. She requested to take opportunity to look at how the district can better respond to emergencies, requesting for the board to host some workshops and go back to developing a board governance. She asked for consensus. I'm asking for clarification if there was consensus.
Yes, there was consensus.
Thank you. The next request is from Mrs. Chahusky. She is requesting to see if the district could restart the safe routes to school. And the last request is from Mrs. Chahutsky. She's requesting to have a contingency plan, especially for our homeless students or students who don't have AC, etc., so the district can be prepared to have safe places for students to go to in case of emergencies. Thank you.
Thank you. Section 15.1, and memorial. The board would like to recognize and close the board meeting in memory of Brenda Burns. Brenda Burns came to the district in April 1997 as a substitute teacher. In September of the same year, she became a permanent teacher assigned to Warren Springs Elementary School, where she remained for her entire 24-year career with the district. She retired in December of 2021. She was a dedicated teacher and colleague and friend to many. Brenda passed away after a long, hard-fought battle with cancer. She will be greatly missed by her family and friends. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. I ask for a motion to adjourn. Meeting adjourned.